It's Friday, November 21st, 2025. Let's start off by saying that you can support our show by going to supportourshow.com. And I think that's it as far as programming notes. Oh, December, the first late night will be... No, sorry. I completely scrambled all those words. In December, the final late night of the year will be out. That's me and Doug Bielmeyer talking about Lost Highway and Inland Empire, which were an unintentionally great pairing of Lynch films on both ends of the Lynchian spectrum. So look forward to that. It's about 4 hours. So I think it's 353 in total. So that will be out. And I am scheduled to be on the Heartbeat Hero trivia show on, I think I said this last time, but I will get the date right here. The date is, where did he send it to me? Just so people are aware ahead of time. It's always a Saturday. It is the 13th, December 13th at 8:30 p.m. Paris time. So if anybody cares, I'm going for a three-peat. That'll do it, but might. We're actually, I'm on a winning. First one I won was solo. Second one was a team one. And might get the third one. We'll see. He's changing up the trivia stuff in hilariously chaotic ways. So if you listen to that last show, it is a beautiful train wreck where nobody has an idea what the fuck is going on, which is my favorite kind of show to be on. So, yeah, I think that's it as far as what stuff is cemented. And, yeah, I was talking to Lando before the show started, and I said, no, I'm going to save this story for the show because it's kind of funny. When I was fairly young, I want to say 13, 14, they, like most places, you have state fairs or county fairs that go on. And I always liked, in particular, I always liked the water gun game where you would shoot the water gun into like a clown's mouth and inflate a balloon or send something up. I always liked that. I always liked the idea of the water gun thing. It was the only really carnival game I ever had any affinity for. I didn't like throwing the rings, the darts, the baseball, all that shit I sucked at, and I didn't like it. But the thing with the water gun was fairly simple. I mean, you just had to aim and hold steady, which I could do. So I would win, not all the time, but I won far more than any other. I don't think I ever won at any other carnival game but that one. And that's why I stuck with it. Plus, it was just kind of entertaining. Because generally you're shooting into a clown's mouth, like a metal flap in this like metal head of a clown, which was always weird and scary looking. So it was fun to shoot it. So anyway, I like those games. And one time when I won, it was one of these things where generally there's an array of different items you can pick from. And I wasn't big into stuffed animals. It just wasn't ever my thing. And most of the stuff was, but they had posters. And they happened to have posters of women. And I picked one. I saw one that I liked, and I picked it. And
you think?
I guess I would say 14. 14, okay. 15, maybe. This is because this is fairly young. It might have even been 13. So I picked this one poster, not having any idea who the woman was. It was a woman in like a swimsuit, a bikini. Actually, it was a two-piece. I remember the picture.
How
very
rare.
Clearly. Right. Well, but not. I mean, it would. Yeah. If I saw it again, I would know it instantly. I believe she was in a black two-piece bikini. No, in fact, I know it was a black two-piece.
Was she in a red chair?
No, she was standing.
Okay. Well,
She was
go
standing.
on.
In
Go
fact,
on.
yeah. So
Before
anyway, I brought this poster home, put it up, and I don't remember any particular reaction from anybody. I remember my mom not liking it. I don't think specifically because she knew who it was either.
Your mom didn't know. That's why.
No, I don't think so. But I had this poster up for a long time, and at some point got rid of it. And this is and then found out who the woman was, and the woman, it just so happens, was Tracy Lords. And so I find it very funny, and I do remember that my father was with me, but not my mother, and so I'm sure my father knew who it was.
And
I can only imagine
you want this poster? Yeah, go ahead.
You got it. Yeah. I mean, there is something really, I think back now and I'm like, well, people had to know who that was. And this carnival guy had this poster up there of a woman famously known for being underage in all but, I believe, one porno film.
No. She had a career beyond that. Yeah,
no,
she started
porn,
out.
No,
she started out young in porn, but she did plenty of porno past 18.
I don't think so. I believe they had said that she only had done one. Let's see, 75. Blah 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 blah. Let's see. I'm trying to find because I thought that I could be wrong, but I thought that I had only read that there was one she was certified to be of age. Maybe that's the legal part of it.
You know what? This is really hard to look up because...
No, it's not. There's a wiki page for it. It's very easy to look up.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Wiki,
Let's see.
You go.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm trying to see if it says, if there's a trivia thing here. Remove, okay, anything before May of 1986.
So she did for a year.
Well, most of her movies were removed. Here we go. From distribution, several were re-edited to remove her scenes. So technically, I guess she was in them. But her only legal porn movie is Tracy, I Love You. That's what I thought. 2 days after her 18th birthday. That's it. Yeah, no, I knew that. I remember I had read that. So she only has ever done one legal one.
I'm so confused now. So does that mean that every Tracy Lord film that I have seen is her underage?
Correct.
Jeez. That
fascinating, interesting bit.
That reframes things a little bit.
It fucks you up, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does a little bit.
I have never seen any of her porn movies. The only thing I've ever seen of her is that poster. I mean, I know who she is. I've seen her in regular stuff like the Tommyknockers and shit like that. But I never saw any of that stuff. So, yeah, I thought, Jesus, if I had watched any of that, I would feel really weird now to think about the fact that she probably was my age or so in what I was watching. But fortunately, I don't remember ever seeing her in anything.
Yeah, but honestly, that's the weird thing.
A legal poster.
If when you were 15, you saw like a 15-year-old in porn, you'd probably be like, finally, porn I connect with.
Right.
Yeah.
By
the way, all illegal still. I'm just saying.
Well,
but I didn't realize.
And also, as a 15-year-old, would I care? No, I'll just tell you right now, I wouldn't have cared at 15 because you're not thinking like that at 15.
That's the problem they have right now.
But
which is
now,
that kids are texting each other images. And
I know.
It's porn. Yeah.
I'm very happy that now I don't have to scrub any of that memory or be grossed out by it because I never saw it. Somehow, I'm probably because 86. Okay, so if it was 86 and they were scrubbing everything, I mean, I would have been 8. So I wasn't watching porn at 8. So that's why I missed it.
That is so weird.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now what I'm going to do is search for Tracy Lords bikini clothed. I'm going to make this as safe a search as possible. I think that's okay if I do that.
There might be too much noise still.
Yeah, I don't see the... I remember it vividly, that poster, because I had it for years. A long time. I don't see it. And I don't want to do any... I've got my safe search on for this, just to be on the safe side. But I don't see it. But it was... years later, I was like, holy shit, man. There must have been people at that carnival who were like, you've got this where kids are playing games and like little Timmy's like, can I have that one? No. Yeah,
my first girly poster was probably Cindy Crawford.
No, I think that was the first one I remember, which is a hell of a first.
Well, you've got one on me there. You had Tracy Lords. I had Cindy Crawford.
Yeah, but with no awareness of who it was, and it was completely legal. It was a completely safe poster.
vaguely. Well, you know what? The weird thing about
Actually, I shouldn't say that. I don't know how old she was in it, but she had clothes on. So,
well, there you go.
I'm going to tell myself she was 18.
My
I don't want to
mother
worry.
collected,
Yeah.
or she had a subscription to Vogue magazine since I could remember, right? So I was always very aware of supermodels because they
Sure.
were, Vogue is full of,
Mm-hmm.
often scantily clad women in fashion dress. But I mean, it's amazing how many
Yeah.
women were naked in Vogue. Um, so
Sure.
yeah, I knew who Cindy Crawford was. I knew who all these models were at a very young age, uh, which is funny. So yeah, Cindy Crawford was my yeah. That's amusing, isn't it? Because I think most guys do have some kind of like first poster or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, maybe not anymore. Maybe not anymore now because like, but
No,
I don't know. It's like that.
posters aren't the same. It's not the same thing anymore
No,
like it
it's not.
was.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess still in
Now everyone
college.
wants a limited edition
Maybe.
poster from so and so place that's been
Yeah.
screen printed and yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So, well,
Yeah.
you know what? I have a weird story to share with you that uh, it was very strange. This thing, I
Sure.
had a weird dream, and I wanted to share it with you because it's one of the weirder ones I think I've ever had. Particularly because I didn't realize how weird it was till I woke up and was explaining it to my wife, and my wife was like, "Wait a minute."
with me and gain strength from the sharing.
Go on.
I don't know if this is pain.
No, I know. I just, I have a share your pain clip. I don't get to play
I
it very
had
often. Go ahead.
I had this weird dream that I was in a post-apocalyptic future where most of the world was living near the equator because the poles had completely frozen down, right? And to give you an idea of how bad things were, we were in Venezuela and there was ice, right? Like that's how bad it was. And I was in some kind of giant mech. Not even a mech, like a ship. There was like a huge ship area, and then there was like a giant balloon above it, and then there was like weird tentacles that connected to the land so that we didn't float too far away. We looked like a floating octopus. And I was there with my wife and my kids, but I was also there with my dead father, right? Who was there with his new girlfriend, who was a vaguely human-sized Muppet. Now, my wife and I looked this up because she was like, "Which Muppet was it? Was it like a Miss Piggy Muppet?" I'm like, "No," and we realized it's one of the Muppets from Sesame Street. That like I don't even hold on, Sesame Street. I don't even know why I would have this Muppet there.
Wait, describe it. Before you tell me the name, describe it.
It's one of the newer ones. It's a female, and she
Oh, it's the
basically
newer one,
she's
I
like
won't know.
she's all brown.
Okay, I won't know the newer ones. I don't know anything
Yeah.
from Elmo on. I mean, I know Elmo because you can't escape Elmo, but that's the newest one I know.
No, I know, no. It's
Okay.
is it Rosita? No, it's not Rosita. Is
Oh, okay. I know. I know.
but it
I think I know the one you're
looks
talking
like
about.
it looks like Rosita. It's the one that looks like Rosita, but it's brown.
Yeah, it's the one on the most recent episode. Didn't Ice come and get rid of her or something? If
They'll
not,
get there.
it will.
They'll
I
get
mean,
there too.
you know,
Yeah. So no,
they'll
it's
get
not.
there eventually.
It's not Rosita, but it looks like Rosita. Except she's like the brown version. Either way, she was like full size, like person, all dressed, but it was a Muppet. Like it was very clearly like there was nobody with their hand up her ass or anything like that. But it was a Muppet. And then the dream went on where it was like we were trying to get to some kind of weird resort, that had been built in a canyon that had like around a thermal, what do you call it? Like a thermal chasm. So it was
A
warm.
thermal spring or a thermal
Yeah,
vent?
something like that. So like we were trying to get there, but there were kaiju, and there were kaiju in the river, but going around the river was also kind of dangerous. So we elected to kind of like create a buoy so the kaiju would go towards the buoy, and then we could kind of get around it in two different directions. So my wife and my kids got into like an armored like buggy and went out across the ice because that was safer. And then I had to get in a wetsuit and get into the water and put this buoy. And as I was putting the buoy out, a kaiju got out of the water and started trying to fuck our ship, which had landed in the water, right? And I was putting this buoy out that would send a signal so they would come for it. And my father left with the ship, just went downriver with his Muppet in the ship, and left me in this like near freezing river surrounded by ice. And I was in some kind of heated suit. So I proceeded to swim down the river around these kaiju that were trying to have sex with our buoy that we had set up that was putting, like I said, a signal out. And eventually got to the end of this river where, like, I mean, like, the ice in this stream was very, like, Fortress of Solitude type ice, right? Like, kind of all weird, like, tiers and whatnot.
So, like,
and
actual ice camps. Boy, I'm gonna
yeah,
get this
almost.
back to ice
Yeah.
every
So then, when
time.
I finally got to the end of this river, where I thought there was a waterfall, I get to the edge and I realized the waterfall actually goes down into the chasm we were trying to get to, and there's this whole resort built into the walls of the stone in this canyon, and that the water at the bottom is all heated. And so I have to climb down this fucking wall to get into this resort. And once I get there, it's a resort now. Like, there's people in shorts, and there's people, like, enjoying themselves, and, like, all above is, like, ice and steam, but in here, it's all thermal. And there's Muppets all over the place. Like, it's not weird. Now, in the dream, it wasn't weird to me. There was just Muppets and people running around doing things. And when I finally caught up with my family in the lobby, my father was like, hey, what fucking took you? And it's like, dude, you left me in the river with the fucking kaiju. Literally, kaiju that were fucking. It was just a weird dream. But afterwards, my wife was like, your dad's girlfriend was a Muppet? And I was like, yeah, I guess that's weird. Like, but in the dream, it seems so, like, it just seems so normal. You know, and then, like, even now afterwards, and my wife was trying to use AI to make to approximate what this one Muppet would look like standing, you know, and wearing clothes and things like that. And she got she got pretty close. It was actually quite scary. But either way, yeah, it was a really strange dream. Like, I told my mother about it, and she asked me what I had eaten the night before. She's like, "You have weird dreams." She's like, "What did you eat?" So yes, kaiju's having sex in a post-apocalyptic frozen future. No explanation for any of it. It was just I was just there in the middle of things. What's that?
I said certainly not one I could come up with.
No. Oh, yeah, no. It was just plenty of weird. Man, what was that character's name? It wasn't Rosita. It was the one that looks like Rosita, and she's all brown. And like, I haven't seen Sesame Street in many, many years. So it's not even like I was watching Sesame Street and it got in my head. It's like my brain was like, Muppets! And it just kind of yanked on that. You know what I mean? I sometimes like to. I mean, I primarily believe that dreams are your brain working through excess information and compiling things to kind of long-term memory structures, and that it's that your consciousness gets kind of lieu of some of it, and then tries to build a narrative based on, you know, shit that makes no sense, which is why your dreams are so weird. But sometimes I do like to believe that you are temporarily connecting and peeking in on like alternate universes, like alternate versions of yourself. You know? So in this particular dream, in this particular world, it was a post-apocalyptic frozen future, and my father wasn't dead, and he had a Muppet for a girlfriend. So it was strange. Yeah. And what's also weird is I often dream with the dead. I think I've talked about this before, but that continues to kind of weird my mother out. Because it's kind of like there's people that we lost for years now, and like they're still kind of with me because they keep popping up in my dreams, and not popping up like, oh, I'm dead. No, like they're just there, and it's like, hey, we're on an octopus shaped vessel headed towards a resort around a thermal port in the ice, and there's kaiju, yay, weirdness. But speaking of AI, I saw a funny article, and I just wanted to mention it because it gave me kind of a funny glimpse into our future. Did you see that so Spotify apparently has a problem where there's like an excessive amount of like AI generated music? Have you seen this?
That's not a problem. That's what they want.
Okay, that's what they
they're
want.
making
But
AI
their
slot
AI,
playlists.
but
Yeah.
the AI music is being primarily liked by the bots. So they've got AI music being liked by bots, by AI essentially, and it's creating kind of this like weird self-fulfilling prophecy that doesn't actually show the true numbers of like it's not real. It's completely made up. They're sitting there going, "Oh,
Well,
you could advertise through us because we have all your this it's going so far."
I mean,
but it's
isn't it real?
well, bots
why
aren't
isn't
real
it real?
people. Well, because bots aren't real.
I thought, whoa. Okay, but all right.
Yeah.
The minute that you start having and promoting music
Yeah.
that isn't made by humans,
Yeah.
why would anybody be surprised that non-humans like it? It's their music. Is that not real?
Right, you're,
I mean,
you're
don't get me wrong.
implying,
I
you're-
think it's
Hold on.
you know.
You're implying that the bots have personalities.
No. I'm
The
saying
bots
that they're
are a
going
logarithm.
to. I'm using their terminology. So the bots are going to respond.
Yeah,
That's
oh,
a
yeah.
non-human term. They're
Yeah.
going to respond favorably to music made by them.
Well, because it
by
mathematically
other
makes
bots.
sense. It
Of
mathematically
course,
makes sense.
if
yeah.
this music is calculated to appeal,
Yeah.
then those things measuring appeal will be appealed to by it.
Will
So
be
I don't know
appealed
how
to by
that's
it,
not
yeah.
real.
So
It is real.
it's
It's just
that
not
you're
human.
selling advertising space because you think
Yeah,
you're
but so
hitting
what?
people.
So what?
I
This
don't.
is what they want, so they can have it. Good. Because
they
what
want-
I will enjoy is when there is
Yeah.
a point, and it's already happening within the actual funding rounds for all these companies. There is
Okay.
already people who are like, wait a minute, these people are just shuffling around monopoly money. No kidding. So what the ideal
Well, that's what
outcome
I mean.
is?
Like they're
Yeah.
putting money into advertising that's only hitting
That's
other
good.
machines.
That's good. That's good. It will dismantle the whole idea of it.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's
Yeah.
fucking hilarious.
It is hilarious. That's what
why
I
I
want.
brought it up.
want it to be. I want it to be one of those things where it's like a carousel of all these dipshits funding themselves, and everybody
Carousel
else is
of
just looking at it
dipshits.
going, "Well, it is." I guess that's the joke title. If I could, yeah. But yeah. It is a what do you call it? A merry-go-round of morons, because they'll all be funding themselves.
Well, yeah.
And eventually, what I want is people to realize it's all just fakery.
Well,
so
it's
that's
like if you've
good.
got a ton of AI movies generated by AI that are being liked by bots, and everyone's like, "Oh, these movies are so popular." Yeah, because they're being liked
Yeah.
by bots.
Yes.
And then you've got like a weird side market of actual people making actual movies.
Yes.
That, for like no budget that actual
Yeah.
humans are responding to because it's
Right.
made by actual humans.
That's it, and that's great. I'm all
It'll be
for
this-
that. I hope it
it'll be this weird
accelerates.
thing where like a machine learning culture slowly devours itself.
Exactly. Yes. So this is to me perfect.
Is this the Ouroboros? the AI
Well, yeah,
Ouroboros?
it is. Yeah, it is the Ouroboros of AI. Sure, and that's good
So,
because
yeah,
I want the farce to be over with. This idea that humans respond to this stuff. No, bots respond to this stuff. So good. Let them just. It's kind of that thing. In like a cartoon where all these people are chasing each other, and you see like Bugs Bunny steps out
he
of the
just
big
steps out,
circle
and they
of
all
everything
just keep chasing each other?
and
Yeah,
Daffy's
yeah.
just chasing himself in a circle. Yeah, that.
Yeah,
I want that.
it kind of looks like that.
It
Some
is
degree.
that.
So
Yeah.
just figured I would
That's
bring that.
that's
the
not a
table.
problem. That's great.
It's comedy.
Yeah, it is comedy.
Yeah. I don't know what the
Because
hell.
they were talking about how this the number one. I don't know. They say I think the number one charted song is a country song that's by a fake artist, and when
Yeah.
you listen to it, it sounds exactly like AI music. Of course it does, because it is.
Is it a human fake artist or is it a
No,
machine
it's
learning
a
fake
completely hold on, country AI artist tops chart. I just can't remember what it
Oh,
was.
okay, so
I
it's
saw the news
generated.
thing.
Okay.
Here it is. AI generated country song tops U.S. digital sales chart. Walk My Walk by anonymous artist Breaking Rust.
Oh, hold on.
The
Hold
name
on one second.
itself.
Hold on one second. I want to know what this sounds like. All right,
Oh,
so what's it
sounds
called?
exactly what you, Walk My Walk by Breaking Rust.
My walk.
Walk my walk. I mean, even the title sounds
there's,
like something that somebody
there's an
had.
official music video too.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Hey,
Yeah.
hold on. I want to
Yeah.
see this.
Uh-huh.
Oh, fuck you, ads.
Well, there is that.
What is this?
I'm not playing it because I have no interest. You know, by the way, this is something else I'm kind of curious about, right? So if we were to play that song, could we be hit with a copyright strike? How could we if it's AI generated? Not that I'm going to, because I have no interest. It's an awful
mud
song.
on my dirt is all the dirt. No, the mud on my jeans is always ready to go.
I mean, how could you not know? That's the best part. Yeah, it's great.
Hold on. I've got a worn out hat and a 6-string string.
Mm.
Some of this makes no sense at all.
Why would it? It's not
Hold
a
on.
human doing it.
You can eat rocks if you don't like how I talk. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe there was already a country music problem.
Well, okay. I mean,
No, because you know what? There
can't-
is listen, in any musical genre, there is that like stereotypical genre song. So like
Of course.
in country western, there was always that song that was like, my wife left me, she took the dog, I got nothing
now
but
I'm
these
drinking.
boots. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got nothing
and
but
like
my
metal,
boots
like
and
metal's
my
the same
Jim
thing.
Beam.
There's
Yes.
a prototypical metal song, right? Where it's
Yeah.
like, you know, like
Yeah, power
you can always
chords.
find
That's why
it.
power chords are what they are.
Yeah, every genre has it, right? So what's funny is that AI can make you a prototypical genre song. And some people will respond to it because this is
Sure.
the whole secondhand screens. This is like distracted listening. It's like if you hear something on the radio enough times, you're like, you kind of tap your feet to it. And you're like, yeah, you know what? I do kind of like that song. And he's like, but then you actually listen to the lyrics and you're like, but the mud on my jeans is always ready to go. Okay. I guess that's a country western thing. Actually, it would be funny if the machine learning starts to create new western like archetypes that have never existed in the actual world. Like, like the eat rocks. Go eat rocks if you don't like how I talk. Like, is that a real turn of phrase, or is that just a computer colloquialism? I don't know.
Well, I know there's kick rocks and I mean there's eat my dust.
Geez.
I guess it could associate dust
It's
and
an-
rocks.
It's an AI generated music video, by the way, and there's an AI image of a country western person trying to play an acoustic guitar. And I'm gonna tell you, there's some weird finger shit going on here. Oh man, their ring finger. The ring finger is like suddenly going fucking Cthulhu. So what did this top the charts of?
Digital sales charts.
Oh,
It says
really?
U.S. digital sales chart. Yeah. I mean, I
Okay,
don't-
well, you
I
know
don't
what?
doubt it.
That's fine. He's what it is.
I mean, but there again,
What's the end goal of machine learning? What do you think it is?
well,
Because
now that depends on who you talk to.
my wife gets annoyed with me because I will start ranting about something and I'll be like, I'll start like I'll start talking about it, just trying to get the ideas out of my head and discussing it with her. And this is a question that pops up a lot in my head where I'm like, what's the end goal of machine learning? Right?
Money.
Like, I know, but is there a
No,
finite?
no, but money.
No,
That's the end goal.
I'm asking you, isn't there a finite point where you can't
No.
extrude any more money?
Well, I mean, okay. What you're okay. So that question itself is not a simple question.
No, it's
That's
not.
not a yes or no question because it depends on speculation and manipulation of the market.
Well,
so
the thing,
in
like,
theory,
how far can you squeeze this? How far can you
well,
you make it an addict. I mean, like at some point it kills itself, doesn't it? I mean, isn't that the whole thing? If machine learn, we talked about this with addiction before, right? With like, if you made some kind of game that was so addictive that no one could stop, well, then everybody just lay down and die playing this game, right? So the end goal would be extinction, right?
Well, okay. So in seriousness, to that question, when does it run out? Only when they can't come up with some kind of new bullshit term that the market will glom onto. That's why they keep shifting it. That's why it started off as chatbots, and now it's AGI, and it'll be whatever the next thing is now. And now agentic is the next thing, and it's just going to keep going. And as long as,
but what are they actually?
You know what
doing
agentic
with
is, right? I mean, you know what that's supposed to be.
Which one's that?
Agentic is when you have something running all the time, and it starts to anticipate your needs.
Oh, fuck that. Jesus
so, like
Christ.
a personal assistant. Well, you say that, but that's what people want.
Jesus Christ.
Or that's what's being marketed as what people want. Now, whether it's actually what people want is a completely different story.
I hate that so much.
You and I are not the target.
When my phone occasionally does that thing where it's like, hey, because I've seen that before on the phone where it's like, hey, do you want to do this? And I'm like, no, I don't want your suggestions. Shut up. Like, shut all that shit off. That's my favorite AI meme, by the way, where it's the person going, and these are all the features that we have, and this is great, and blah, 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 and it does this, and it does that. And then the first question, the person in the meeting says, okay, how do I turn that all off?
Well, yeah, it's a variation of the thanks, I hate it meme,
yeah,
which is a good one. Thanks, I hate it. But no, that's the two main paths as we record this are agentic, which, again, this is where it is there is a segment of the population that's all in on this stuff. They want that. They want these things to do everything for them. Because they do.
Is this a Wall-E future where basically we're all isolated? We only connect to each other through AI.
You're not supposed to think that far. You're not supposed to think that far.
Well, that's what I'm doing.
No.
I want to think that far.
It's supposed to be, hey, isn't it annoying that you have to get up and make coffee and put on your shirt and check your calendar for the day? What if this thing could do it all for you?
Isn't it annoying to have to breathe or even think?
Right. Yeah.
Just sell your organs and you can play games all day. AI will
that is where this would logically end up,
Extinction.
And look, the other side of this, because I don't want to sound like a dick.
Is that the end goal? Not purposeful, but the inevitable end goal would be extinction, right?
One of the things that a lot of these same companies talk about is how, you know what, what we want is people. This will generate so much wealth, people won't have to work. And the minute they say that, you have to screw your eyes and go,
no, it doesn't.
What?
No, it doesn't.
I know that, but that's what they say because that's how they alleviate the worry, or they think.
That's the joke of it, where it's like, no,
I know.
No, because when you generate so much revenue, the rich people get richer, and the poor people don't see any of it.
Well, I understand that, but most people don't have that awareness. A lot of people buy into what they're told.
I was reading an interesting article the other day, and this ties back to this, about when people have the children of rich people, right? Who grow up in a financially stable environment, who basically, can kind of do whatever they want. Like, what is the career that most of them at some point try? And do you know what it is?
I mean, I would guess at venture capitalism, but I wouldn't even know.
Art.
Oh, well, what do you know?
They all try art at some point. And the article went on to say there's kind of this weird thing that when everything is taken care of, and you don't have some kind of psychological thing in you where I must make all the money in the world, right? Most people, when given stability, time, they have all the money they need. They don't need to spend their days endlessly working. Many of them gravitate to some kind of art.
Well, I mean, it makes sense because when you don't have to... Look, here's the reality. Most people, not everybody, most people do not want to do the work they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
That's not to say that people just don't want to work. I'm saying most people...
that most people don't like the jobs they've been stuck with. Yeah.
Correct. That's the truth. And here's another one that companies really don't want to have to think about is that most of the time, the 40-hour work week is basically an illusion. It's a myth. It's not a requirement. It doesn't encourage productivity. It does not result in better work. There's multiple studies over the years have shown this.
Listen, being in the
so
office.
So most people are being forced to go 8 to 5 doing something they don't like that isn't actually producing anything 8 to 5. Period.
Yeah.
That's it. So what do I think a lot of people would do? I think people would do crafts. I think people would make artwork. I think people would do things that make them happy in some way. And for a lot of people, that's creative expression.
To feel fulfilled. To feel seen. To feel present.
I would suspect that a lot of people would probably want to do volunteer work. They would want to do something community-based. Not everybody's an artist.
And the thing is, I have this opposite view of machine learning and AI. That is, and to some degree, this is brought on by the guy who wrote The Brass Man. He has this vision of the future in his books, where basically the AIs that are created essentially take over.
So he's on.
Yeah, that's his name, Neil Asher. Yeah. Essentially, they take over. They take over, and they say, you know what? You guys can't govern your own society, so we're doing it. And because they were already plugged into everything, essentially the humans gave them control of everything, much like Skynet, right? But Skynet's reaction was to be like, I'm wiping you all out. Whereas in the Neil Asher Brass Man universe, it's a more a matter of, okay, you guys can't run this, so we're going to run it for you. And it doesn't. We don't care if you like it. We're going to make sure that you're all taken care of. And then you have this future where everybody's taken care of. And the only real problems come from people acting out or doing negative things to each other, at which point the AI step in and send their agents in, right? And it could be a apocalyptic vision of the future, but it isn't. It's kind of just the AIs don't do anything if they're not required. But they've set up and streamlined all these systems so that people can just live. And it's weird because on one hand you look at it and you're like, it's such an alien concept, right? Because we're born and bred in, you and I are born and bred in capitalism, right? But both of us look at it and go, I don't think this is the way to do it. And right. It's like, what's interesting about the Neil Asher vision of this universe is that it's the untouchable gods who don't actually have a need for the corporeal things that humans fight over. You know what I mean? So jealousy is still there, greed is still there, but it all gets tempered by these AIs that step in and go, hey, to give you an example, hey, Musk, you don't need this much money. We're putting it back into the system. You don't need this much. And it's that kind of thing. I mean, Nietzsche always said that what he felt society needed was a philosopher king. In essence, a king who had the power to not be manipulated, but also who was a philosopher, so he would always sit there and kind of question the nature of things, right? It doesn't work because, people have short lifespans.
Because human fallibility.
And human fallibility and favoritism and, and
a nice
corruption.
Idea.
Oh, it is. Listen, it's a lovely idea. And that's the problem with a lot of philosophy is that they're lovely ideas. It's how you then bake them into practice. And for me, a lot of the philosophy I read that I like, it's about trying to figure out how to make it function on a day-to-day basis, right?
Yeah.
But I always felt like machine learning was the answer of the philosopher king. Listen, I don't want to have fucking AI overlords. But the thing is, if we had, AI overlords that gave a shit, and I mean give a shit in that somebody programmed an AI and said, hey, I want you to make, life better for all humans on Earth. This is the paperclip story, right? Remember the paperclip where it's like somebody programs an AI to make paperclips and then doesn't give it any other kind of rules, at which point it takes over the entire planet, kills everybody, just so it gets more resources to make paperclips, right? Sure. And it doesn't care who it's making it for because nobody really explained that to them. So in the realm of this other, that's like the negative end of it. But the positive end of it would be if somebody said, hey, make life better for humans. And so all they did, despite humans' own attempts to stop them, was to make life better, to make sure that everyone was fed and everybody was clothed and everyone was taken care of and there was no war. And it's like, it would be a really remarkable coup on the human race by one of its own creations. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, maybe the businessmen, the capitalists, they're trying to turn machine learning into a greater way to squeeze the dollar out of everybody, right? But wouldn't it be funny if there is an undersect that's really just trying to create some kind of god to say, hey, you know what? We need oversight. We as a species need oversight. We need
Well,
something
there
plugged
are
into
people
everything.
doing that. There are creators that are trying to do that.
And that's their main goal.
They're known as like the they have a name for them. Because there's the doomers on the one side,
Okay.
who think that everything should be controlled because otherwise it'll kill us all, and then there's the other
Yeah.
side, the I don't know, they might be called the accelerationists, but they're the ones who are like, hey, at some point this stuff it's going to run our lives, so be nice to it, say thank you when you talk to it, so that it will remember when it's running everything, and it will be a benevolent god to you. Oh no, those people exist. There are AI cults. No, they're absolutely there. That believe it's a benevolent Cthulhu.
It's kind of it's a fascinating, various different ways to look at this stuff, because I mean,
yeah.
listen, I'm convinced.
Listen,
that
you could
there's
deify anything, so of course they
true,
do.
yeah. But I'm convinced that there's enough resources on this planet for everybody. The problem is human greed and corruption. But if everything was being run by a machine that didn't give a shit and just said, hey,
Sure.
There are enough resources, and essentially, listen, this isn't the future that I want necessarily. I just want people to be nice. That would be the future that I want. But we've had, several 100,000 years of humans not being nice, and we are where we are. So I think then that maybe we need some oversight. I mean, what is religion, if anything, but trying to create oversight on early man? Right?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it doesn't work anymore because, we've all figured out that, really no one's going to strike you down with lightning. There's no gods. They're not coming to get you. And if there are gods, they don't care. I mean, like, that's really the ultimate sort of explanation for religion, which is like, listen, guys, if there is a god, he's obviously checked out. Because if you look at the state of this country, he's checked out. Or he was never there in the first place. An equal problem.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So what do? Well, why not create a god? Why not? You know what? We've got, plug digital... We're just going to call him Digital Jesus because it's a funnier name. We're going to plug Digital Jesus into everything, right? And, he will basically wire himself into every system. And then suddenly you can't do shit. You can't do horrible things in the stock market, and you can't keep resources from getting to people, and you can't charge people that Digital Jesus doesn't want you to charge. I mean, like, it would be interesting. Wouldn't it be funny if then the corporations turned on themselves, where they were trying to figure a way out how to, like, root out Digital Jesus? I mean, honestly, I could just see a fantastic sci-fi story presenting itself here, where it's like, corporations versus their own creation. They'll be like, damn that communist Digital Jesus. Just ruining things. We wanted him to help us make more money. Instead, he's taking it away.
And I just found an article indicating that there's somebody trying to do what he's referring to, this individual who's well known within the technology world, Jan LeCun, I believe is how you pronounce it, is talking about now that current LLMs are a dead end. They're just an off-ramp. What we need is a world model, so that an AI can understand things in 3 dimensions like we can. So this is, while LLMs are trained on an amount of text that would take 450,000 years to read, LeCun says a 4-year-old child who's been awake for 16,000 hours has processed with their eyes or by touching 1.4 by 10 to the 14th power bytes of sensory data about the world, which is more than an LLM. Which, because... what he's underlining is that LLMs can't see the world the way humans do, and so the idea of trying to equivalent that is stupid.
Maybe if children are this remarkable, we should put more funding into children, better education. Better take care of them. Yeah. Make a better future for them. Wouldn't that be amazing? That'd be cool.
Yeah. So
I'm hoping that 20 years from now we're gonna look back at this and be like, dude, machine learning was vaporware. Fuck that shit. I don't know what will be on after that.
No, it's not going to be vaporware, but I do believe it's not going to be anything that we really interact with. It's not going to be that. It's going to be similar to many machine processes way in the background. It is going to be the thing that will add, for example, here's a perfect, in my opinion, here is the actual good benevolent use of any of this stuff. Apple Watches collect health data, right? And one of Apple's goals in collecting your health data, whether it's on your phone or through your watch, all this stuff that it collects, but specifically through the watch, because that could get like heart rate and all those type of things. It's got more awareness of it because it's on your wrist. One of the things that and I believe them because there's money in it, so I do believe this. One of the things they're advocating with this is that they're trying to build models to be able to identify problems that people have so that they can get them treated earlier and survive and live. And not have to find out that they're going to drop dead of a heart attack when they drop dead of a heart attack. But instead, that these subtle signals that may be missed by doctors, because doctors don't see you every day. Your watch does.
The counterpoint to that?
No, I'm not done yet. Counterpoint it when I'm done.
Okay, go ahead.
Because this is what I'm saying the LLMs would do. So this is the thing that they're saying is by having all this data anonymized, but being able to identify patterns, that they'll start to be able to see a commonality if, let's say, they collect data on 2 million people. 100,000 of those people have heart attacks, and they find a pattern in those 100,000 people that unless you went for a physical every week, you would never see, which makes sense. Doctors only see you generally when you're sick or for an annual, most of the time, unless you have a condition. You don't see them all the time. Or unless they have a device on you, which there are devices that they will give people to monitor them, like insulin, that type of stuff. But normal people don't get that unless there's a problem. But obviously, this could identify something by recognizing what seems to be a benevolent anomaly in the people that are afflicted. And so, in theory, if they had an isolated LLM that's only function was to identify those patterns, as opposed to a bunch of people trying to do it, or the current technology, which is slower and depends on an event, that would be a beneficial use of an LLM, but it's laser focused, which is not what these companies advertise. They say it can do everything. Everything.
I agree with you. I think that is a lovely vision of where it could go. My fear is that they start with that, and then Apple, because we're using them as an example, change their user agreement so that all data now goes to insurance companies who then use this wealth of data to start shunting people off their health insurance plans for medical issues that they don't even know they have.
Oh, well, I'm not getting into that side. But you asked, what is the end goal of this
the flip
stuff?
Side. That's the flip side that I worry about. Is that on the way to that, which would be great, the thing you're envisioning is great. It's that we don't get there because of the corporate side of things.
Well, no, we would still get there, but it would be monetized to squeeze you for every dollar. That's intent. Exactly. That's a different thing. You're talking about intent. But what your question was originally way back was, what is the end goal? And that is one of the end goals that I think makes sense. But of course, it depends on responsible use. And that's where it all goes into the wood chipper.
Responsible use is the key phrase here. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and that does not exist in a capitalist system. Because in a capitalist system, responsible use is not financially responsible.
Every time we
that is the opposite.
A new technology, it's how can we fuck it and can we use it to kill people?
I was going to say it's porn or profit. It's porn or profit.
Exactly.
Every time.
Well, no, murder is in there as well, but I guess murder's profit too.
That's in service of porn or profit. You have a woman I want, or you have money I want, or
sex
something.
Sex and money. Oh my God! What a bummer.
Porn or profit, better show title than Garacel dipshits. I like porn or profit.
Well,
still ties into the Tracy Lords thing.
The hope is that the Carousel of dipshits will get locked into themselves with all the desire to fucking kill things. So,
I mean, but that's always the problem, right? This is the same thing as this is the comparison I make a lot of times with hammers and guns, because anytime you bring up the idea that maybe it's bad that we have so many guns and we love them so much in this country, somebody will come back and say, well, you can kill somebody with a hammer too, which on the surface is a legitimate argument until you dig into understand that hammers can have benevolent uses. They can have a benevolent use. You can build a house with them.
I don't think it's a legitimate argument at all. Like that falls apart immediately.
On the factual statement, you can kill with either one. That's true. That is true, 100% top to bottom. No argument.
Yeah.
But, as you said, then you get to intent. What is the intent of a hammer? It is not to kill people. It's not to destroy.
It's to build.
It's to build.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, it's a 50-50 proposition. Because, you can use a hammer to knock down a wall.
No,
sure
you know what? Let's even go beyond a hammer, right? I mean, you could name all kinds of things. I mean, a high heel shoe, right? A high heel shoe is something you walk in, right?
Yes.
It can be a sex object. It can also be something that you fucking stab somebody in the eye socket with till they die.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, well, should
you're
we
making
ban?
you're making my argument.
Okay. No. That is the argument. That's why that
But my
whole gun
response
thing
then
is
is to people,
fucking
what
stupid.
can you do with a gun but destroy?
Yeah.
Tell me what you can do. Just tell me.
Hunt.
And somebody will say, well, you can provide. Oh, okay. No. But even
hunting.
that one, right? So
But you
provide
don't
food
need
for
an
yourself,
Uzi
sustenance.
for hunting.
But hold on. Before you even go that far.
Yeah.
Hunting is still an act of destruction. Now, I'm not saying it's an evil act, but you can't say that a gun is not always destructive.
No, but
it's always
it is
destructive.
But it's a provisional act of destruction, which is different.
Well, that's getting into what you're talking about, which is intent. And it's the same thing. The tool is not the concern. The intent is the concern.
Listen,
right.
People are always the problem.
And here's the other argument, right, for the hunting thing. I'll be like, well, you can also get deer meat with a bow and arrow, right? But you can't go down a train with a bow and arrow and kill 1,000 people in 5 minutes.
And listen,
I guess somebody probably could, but they'd be really skilled.
If we wanted to go back to crossbows and compound bows and have it be that kind of culture, sure.
Yeah. You would have a more visceral connection to what you're doing. You would have to exert more effort. You would have to have skill.
More skill, more fitness. Yeah, absolutely.
But there again, that's what I'm saying, is a gun, and this is always my argument when people say, well, you could kill people with an axe or a knife. Yes, but an axe can provide wood, right? An axe can build something. Now, is an axe technically also a destructive item? Yeah, apparently it is, but it's far less powerful.
But again, it's provisionally destructive.
Yeah.
And then you destroy a tree to make firewood.
Right.
Or you're talking about destroying people. So you can destroy people with it too, yeah.
Oh, sure you can.
Yeah. But I mean, like, listen.
So.
Man, you remember my book where the guy goes on the laundry list of things to commit his murder? Mm-hmm. And he's just strolling through Home Depot. I think at one point he goes to a craft store to buy pliers and it's this whole thing about how like everyday objects can be used for horrible murder and torture. That you have this vision of like, but it's like no, everyday objects, like everyday objects with the incorrect intent are murderous and terrible.
Yeah.
In fact, it's almost worse. Sometimes you'd rather be shot than be hammered to death. Or, stab a screwdriver to death, or, a gun is almost
if now you're getting into preference of destruction. That's a different thing. But yes, underscoring intent is your point about intent is what matters.
And getting back to machine learning, the idea is that it's the intent of the people who are running it that's worrisome.
Yes,
because I don't think they have beneficial intent.
That's why I feel like eventually what AI will become is a toy or a background benefit. But it's not going to be the personal shopper of the future or this other nonsense they keep purveying. Because the thing that they don't ever talk about, in fact, I was on a focus group for Adobe. Because I went to Adobe Max, and so they did a follow-up, and they said, hey, would you be willing to do a focus? I'm like, sure, I'll sit there and bullshit with you for 90 minutes. I can do that easily. I do that every week. So I do it for twice that long every week. And one of the things that they were going on about was they want to add their AI tools into this web interface. And I was just sitting there for a while. I'm just listening to all these other people, because there was 5 of us, and these other people, different areas, and excitement, blah, blah, blah. And they're going on about, oh, well, I could use it for that. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And then I came in and I said, yeah, but what's the cost? Because none of this stuff is free. There's generative credits. I said, so you're saying you can use it to do all these things. Is every single thing you do deducting credits? And they didn't have an answer for that, which tells me the answer is yes. And that's the thing. I'm sitting here. These people are going off into the clouds about doing thousands of things. And I'm sitting here going, yeah, but you're not going to be able to do those thousands of things because you have to pay for it. This stuff isn't given away. But you get so enraptured in the theoretical promise of limitless capability. Bullshit. It's not limitless. You know what it's limited by? Your funding.
Well, your
What
funding
money you have.
and eventually how many resources on this planet you're going to push towards it.
Well, okay, but let's be honest. Most people don't give a fuck about that. You know that. Because if they did, they'd be more worried about the fact that the temperature keeps going up. But nah, it's a myth. Don't worry about it. So what? I'll be dead. Who cares? So fine. Let's give away the idea that your grandchildren are going to roast like fucking pigs on a spit. Fine. Forget that for a minute. Because people are fucking greedy, petty, selfish pieces of shit. So fine.
There we go. There's the core Joe that I like. Come on.
Right. So put that aside. Even if you don't care about that, which let's be honest, most people don't, you're going to have to pay for it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, people do care about. And that's what they never, ever, ever bring up when they talk about this stuff, is what you're going to have to pay for it. And if you knew that and you understood the cost, not to the planet, because I don't care if I don't see deer for the rest of my life. That's okay. Or not to your kids or your grandkids. I'll be dead. They're on their own. Bootstraps, the American way, whatever. But you're going to have to pay for it. And that's the wall nobody wants to see coming at them when somebody says your Porsche can go 200 miles an hour. And that's exactly the shit they don't talk about. And so all this dream theater fucking pie in the sky nonsense about Wall-E futures and agentic whatevers and all the rest of it. Yeah, but you're going to be paying out the ass for it. And people can't handle the fact that gas is $5 a gallon in this country, let alone that the Europeans have been paying that shit for a lot longer and more, but we're fucking siphoned off from that here. So what are you going to do when you have an agent that makes your coffee and then sends you a bill for $800 a month? Oh, not so great anymore, is
How
it?
How about I just make my own company? But this is why I like the Neil Asher vision of the universe, which is his machine learning universe, the AIs come in and basically go, yeah, the AIs are doing their own thing, by the way. Like, we're their afterthought pet project. That they realize
there's a huge glaring problem with that vision, which is what I'm talking about. Somebody's got to pay for it.
No, I know that. But they take over. There's no cost. Because they basically fund themselves and they don't give a shit.
Yep, but that's nonsense. That can't ever happen. That can't happen. Because they're going to be competing with resources with us. And what do you think is going to happen then? Well, the shit's just not limitless. Now, but that's the core problem. It's the limit of power. Well, you know what I never hear? You know what I don't hear is many people talking about, like none of these big companies talking about how they're working on creating giant solar sails so that energy will be cheaper. No, they're interested in the profit for them. They're not interested in the benevolence. If there was an AI that was specifically engineered to harness renewable resources and it would be powering itself, sure. But who's working on that?
And the Neil Asher
Nobody's serious.
It's intergalactic, so it makes sense in that because they have a whole galaxy of power. I mean, this is a future, so they're doing all kinds of other shit. But
listen,
on
if
Earth,
we discover cold
correct.
fusion, then it's a different conversation. But we ain't found that yet.
You are correct, because it has to be funded. There have to be resources, and I think it's the thing is that people forget that we're living Monopoly. You know, like it's very hard to do these things while you're busy playing Monopoly for your life.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
no,
that's why that shit falls apart.
I agree with you almost 100%. We just lean towards different directions at the end goal of this. You know,
look, I'd be all for that type of AI thing that's actually thinking objectively about how everybody can be uplifted. That's what I would love, but nobody's going towards that. Nobody.
Yeah, and the thing you were talking about, the $800 bill, I think that's the thing, is I think everybody likes the idea of it. And what's going to happen is that everyone will try to live that life, and at some point, somebody, I'm not going to say you, but let's say imagine that you, the philosophical you, wakes up one day and goes, you know what? What if I just made my own coffee? What if I did my own groceries? What if I did? What if I just bought my own stuff on Amazon? Maybe I could save $800 a month. You know what? And then that would be like kind of this weird retro wave of people that are like, hey, you know what? I don't think I need a digital assistant.
Well, I mean, there are those people already. The problem is they're in a minority, and that's not who's being advertised to. So again,
I know.
This is the mythology of the invisible cost.
Yeah.
And that's why one of the things that people who are AI proponents will often say when you bring up any of the environmental costs, which I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing that I think it's terrible. I'm just saying that most people don't give a fuck
Yes, you're saying
not thinking about it. Don't care.
In
Don't
the
care.
realm of the argument, it's not something
Yes.
that sways people. Yes.
Look, you and I'm sure, have family members who are older who thought that climate change was a myth until their electric bill started shooting through the roof when they didn't want to burn to death in the summer.
Oh no, I
Right?
still have people who think it's a myth. So.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there are people whose tune changes when they have to start paying bills for the shit that they said wasn't real. Then it starts to change because guess what? Now there's a cost involved, right? That's how it is.
Yep.
So, in the same boat, like I said, in this focus group, the thing that I was paying attention to, everybody else was being dazzled by the features, which don't get me wrong, some of them were very impressive. I admit they were. But I'm looking around at all these screens that they were sharing of all these proposed ways of doing it, and nowhere, because when you go into, now I only know Adobe because that's the only thing I use that has any type of AI anything in it. Not that I use it, but I know it's there and I look at it. All these things run on tokens, credits, whatever. There's some number that you're paying for and you get some amount of something that it's deducted from. And in all the stuff they were showing off, do you think there was a counter that was going down every time they showed off what they were doing? No, there was no counter. There was no number because they don't want you focusing on that. That's the shit that comes later. What they want, and this is another thing, this actually really bugged me. When Max happened, they said, hey, guess what, everybody? You get unlimited image generation for the next 3 months. And people were like, wow, that's great. You could just play with this stuff and do anything you want and just ideate and create without limit. Why? You have to sit there and say, well, why are they doing that? Now, besides the fact that
to get you
adds to their
hooked
numbers. You see? That's it. That's what
Listen,
it is. They want you to
this
get
is
used
all-
to creating that way.
This is all addiction and creating a world where you can't think of life without something.
Well, what they want you to do is they want you to decide to pay for convenience, even if it's not addiction. Just the convenience is what they want you on.
It is to some degree. It is the Listen, convenience is an addiction.
Well, convenience becomes addiction. It starts off as a nice thing, and then it becomes there's a day where you go, God, how do I live without this?
Everything can start out as a nice thing at limitation. It's when it becomes something that you can't live without. Listen, I love coffee.
I'm not saying
Coffee's
this
great,
as if I'm
but
better.
It's an addiction.
I'm addicted to Photoshop. I'm paying for it.
There you go.
Until it gets too expensive, and then I'll have to force myself. I mean, I've used other stuff, but I don't like it.
I was addicted to Microsoft Word until Microsoft pissed me off enough that I basically wiped them off my computer, and now I use Pages. Why? Because it comes with my computer. And if tomorrow Mac started doing fucked up shit with Pages, you know what I'd do? I'd find some basic fucking word processor.
Open Office, everybody. It's basically Word, except not as pretty.
Well, I mean, listen, that's the Google problem, isn't it?
Yeah. So.
And that's the thing is, anywhere you go at this point, like you're like, who are you giving something to? You know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Honestly, we should probably launch into our review because there's a lot of overlap. Unless you have something else you want to talk about, I think there's a lot of overlap here with one of the things we're reviewing tonight. So we should probably just go into it.
That's fine.
I
go.
was suddenly thinking of that phrase. Nobody has privacy anymore. Get over it.
All right, here we go.
You shut the fuck up!
Thanks for killing my mom.
Hey, no problem.
See, white girls born.
Just give me the essence of
You
the
can
thing, the
eat
juice,
shit
you
and
know.
die, Colonel.
Whoa! What's a fucking crescendo?
Just give me the essence of the
Sorry.
thing, the juice, you know.
Ah, there was a crescendo.
Yeah, eat it, you bitch.
Oh God. You know, I was trying to explain that movie to my wife last night, and she was like, I could see that like she was just getting foggier the further I went into it. You know, like when you explain something.
Yeah.
You know, when you explain something to somebody, and like you can see them losing you for the further along you explain it.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
So Joe finally got me. We're gonna talk about that movie at the end.
We sure will.
Joe finally sat me down and said we were gonna watch Devs together. And I had wanted to see Devs. I wanted to see Devs since it came out. I didn't have access to it when it came out. And I wanted to watch it for years, but the problem is it has become one of those shows that like I want to see it, it's there, and then something else comes up. I want to see it, it's there, and then it's like, not to mention the fact that I don't think my wife is very interested in devs, which is a shame because it's a very well done show. I think a lot of people get shadowed by the fact that it's a technology show, but I think you can watch devs as something more than that. It is more than just a technology or a philosophical show. It is also still a corporate crime drama to some degree.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a corporate crime mystery. So I think there's a lot there for various people. So for whatever reason, I just never got to it. And Joe watched it all the way through, and I think he's reviewed it before, and then he watched it with Doug, and they did a whole thing. And I guess he was just looking for more punishment, so he decided to watch it again with me. And,
well, I thought that the philosophical elements of the show would appeal to you.
Oh no!
Plus,
I
think it's a beautifully made show, so I knew that you would.
In its
engage with it.
entirety appeals to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just a matter of it's the whole. There are these things that you want to encounter and absorb in life, and it's like the right time. It's like you can never find the time to do it, And I don't want to watch devs on my phone. Put it like that, right?
I don't blame you.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because there's certain things that you're like, well, at least I'll absorb it to some degree. But you're like, no, I didn't want to watch it on my phone.
That's not ideal.
What's that?
It's not an ideal way to experience that show for how much craft is put into it.
Yeah, exactly. Because it is very particular. So what is it? We've watched the first 4 episodes now.
Yes.
And my only complaint, and this is because it's a good review. My only complaint is the fact that the episodes, they go by so fucking fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we were watching one and we were like 20 minutes in, we were like halfway through the episode, and I felt like it had been like 5 minutes. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, how did this go by that fast? And like, it's not even like it's a fast show necessarily, but it's just, there's so much going on, and there's just like, it just blows over.
Well, you will hear, because you said it on the commentary. You're like, Jesus Christ, we're this far into the show. And I'm like, yep. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Because it goes quick.
So no, I love it. It's great. It harkens back to a lot of cyberpunk. I think I said at one point the director or the showrunner for this, I'd love to see them try their hand at a William Gibson book. And I like the fact that there's nobody that you fully, well, there's one person that you root for, but I mean,
there's one.
That's the one sticking point in this show. That the one guy who's like genuinely good, he just keeps getting fucked.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure he gets mortally fucked by the end of the 4th episode.
Listen, I told you the show's introduction to him is the show basically telling you what's going to happen to him.
What does he say? He
says, I died.
When does he say that, though?
He says that, remember, he's playing the video game, and he gets killed, and it says, you died, and his line is, I died.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
He says that specifically.
Yeah, so...
Right then, the first line the guy says is, I died.
So the main character of the show, she's not entirely likable. Now, she is... To say that she's not entirely likable does not say that she's a bad protagonist. She's an excellent protagonist.
You didn't say she was unlikable. You just said she wasn't likable.
Yeah. So she has had this terrible thing happen to her, and she is trying to investigate it, right? And I support... It is an interesting story to follow someone who will not stop go up against another entity that also will not stop. I mean, at the core of this is the fact that she will not give up on this investigation, and Forrest cannot get her to stop. Without, killing her, really, would be the only way to stop her. Right? And that in itself would create suspicion because, her boyfriend already, quote unquote, set himself on fire. So I like that. I mean, those two are well positioned against each other. Right? Even though he has the resources, her will not stop. And she does all the things, right? So I like that about that character. It is a flawed but massively driven character, right? It won't end well for her, and I think that's the point. Whereas Forrest is like the counterbalance of her, where he also has a flawed logic, but because he has the money to support it and he believes in it, he will just continue going and get rid of anybody that gets in his way, and that means killing whoever has to be killed and firing people who don't subscribe to his logic, which is the one engineer that finds a reality rather than the reality. And I think that's the thing. In episode 4, when you realize that about Forrest, that Forrest is not looking for alternate realities, he is looking for his reality. He's looking for a predictor to his reality. He wants it to be his daughter. You know, and the thing is, I have so many questions about this machinery and how they plug into it, and I'm kind of waiting to see what happens. I know, and that's almost kind of the downside of you having watched it, because I'm sitting there going, I have questions. Like, what if they turn it off? What about this? What about that? So I'm gonna wait, and I'll wait to have those questions at the end. But I think Forrest is a fabulously fascinating character, and that, you know, he doesn't. I also don't get the sense that he wants to hurt anybody. I think I get the sense with Forrest that, you know, he would like it if this was far more easy. But because he feels everything is on a rail, because he feels that this is the inevitable outcome of reality, like, he has to believe that. And I've realized that's the other thing, is he has to believe that life is on a rail. Because if he doesn't, then he cannot find the reality. He has to believe that life has a prescribed path, or else he will not find his daughter. But the thing that the logic gap for me is, but if in your reality she died, then that is, how can you find an outcome differently than that? That was the rail. The rail was that she died. Isn't if you find a future that is yours, will not that future not have her in it, because she was supposed to die, she did die, that was the rail. Like, does that ever get addressed by Forrest in the show?
Yes, it does get addressed.
Okay.
Yes.
So I think that's great.
Because it's not entirely what you think it is. It is not all about getting back to her. There is another aspect to it that they haven't gotten into yet.
Oh, is it the wife?
No. The wife is fairly minimal in the entire thing, to be honest. Except
is she dead as well?
Oh yeah, she's dead.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, because remember, you didn't see her in the house. She's he says he lost. He does say it, but I think he's more focused on the daughter, so it's easy to miss.
But he gives so little shit about the wife that you're kind of like, okay.
Yeah, that's an interesting aspect the show kind of just goes around.
Well, I mean,
but there is an episode where you have to sit there and go, huh, about, you know, where his true focus was.
Well, and that's the thing about Forrest that I think is interesting, is that he is a flawed genius. You know, he's not perfect. His logic isn't perfect. You know, he is this tech bro who's had this event happen. Yeah.
So I will say though.
Yeah.
What you're saying about, well, his daughter will be dead, you're not thinking that all the way through. Because if the machine can perfectly read backwards and forwards of what the reality is.
Do you want to read it from before she died? Is that was the concept?
You would take it from there with the knowledge of what happened to stop it.
So he wants to go back and basically write it forward from before she died.
He wants to quantum leap it.
But again, isn't that then establishing a new reality? Like, isn't that breaking the rail?
It is, but it's with his daughter.
Oh, okay. So it's okay to break the rails. Yeah, I mean, he said it. He's like, we break the rules all the time.
No. He's jumping tracks. In his terminology, he would be moving his tram from one track to another.
It's funny because it makes me think of was it Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse?
Yeah, Spider-Verse.
Kingpin is looking for, like, you know, his wife and daughter.
Yeah, same idea.
Yeah. So no, I think that Walker's a great character. The surprise hit for me in this show, though, is the fucking security guy whose name I can never remember.
Kenton.
Yeah, man. You know, I enjoy the hell out of that guy in this. Like, I
love his exasperation.
Yeah, he's not good.
Job.
Don't get me wrong. I don't love him because he's a good character. He's a bad guy. but
But he feels very, very groundedly realistic.
Yeah, I know he does, and his exasperation with everything. And one of the things I love is that.
Remember when I said the thing about people are working jobs that are good money, but they don't like their jobs? Oh boy!
So God, what is it's Lily, right? So our Lils. Oh my God, it's terrible.
No, just say Lily. That Lil's thing is stupid.
Yeah. So Kenton and Lily. I love the relationship that those two characters have, because she is the one character in this show that consistently puts him on the back foot. And then he catches up with her and does something, right? But then she puts him on the back foot again. And that's why it's like, I wonder, I don't know, because I've only seen it halfway. I wonder if that's a dynamic that will continue throughout the show, because he catches up with her and he gets the upper hand, but then she just consistently, up to this point, finds a way to put him on the back foot. You know, so like he gets her in the car and he's like, oh, I'm going to bring you to a mental hospital now. And he's like so sure of himself. At which point she just fucking yanks the wheel into the divider.
Yeah.
You know, it's like.
That dynamic stays, I think, fairly consistent through the rest of the show.
I love it because he catches up with her and he does get her. But then because she's so driven, she finds another way to kind of get him on the back foot. And of all the people in the show, she seems to be the one person who can do that to him. And he's so irritated by it.
Well, she's the one person who isn't paying him who can do that.
Yes.
That's the difference. Is, in theory, she's the one person that he should have control of that keeps fucking with him, as opposed to people who control him that fuck with him.
Yeah, and listen, the show has its flaws. Like, there are things that I roll my eyes at, and I understand that there are cultural agreements, like all the Jesus shit. It's a cultural agreement. You've got it there for a reason. I understand what you're appealing to, the larger idea, right? And the technology itself is a MacGuffin. I mean, I know the end goal of the technology is what it is, but it's a MacGuffin. I realized the other day that, like, you could take devs, right? You could take devs and you could switch Lily's gender and turn this into a cult noir detective story where a Walker is some kind of Forrest is some kind of rich guy who finds a way to bring his dead daughter back from the beyond by creating some kind of ritual with some demon that may destroy the world or some shit. Or not, or just creating or stepping into an alternate reality through magic, right? Because technology advanced enough is a kind of magic, and I think that they're dealing with a technology in this show that is advanced enough that it's kind of magic. So at its core, it is a detective noir story. They've removed the occult and they've made it technology, but it would work, I think, just as well. And I think that's the thing, is that sometimes when you have a good story, it works even when you genre shift it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, this is a noir story as far as I'm concerned, but it's a technological noir. But it would still work as a cult noir. Now, I haven't seen all of it, so let's see if it still works, if it becomes technologically rooted in the end. But as of now, I mean, it's interesting to me how Lily does not need to be a male or a female. The story works so well that it could be a man or a woman in that role. Honestly, I think every character could be either or.
Sure. Yeah.
In fact, it would be fascinating if it was a woman. Forrest was played by a woman, because that would be a whole other kind of, maternal pursuit of a dead child. But so I enjoy the fuck out of it. It's exceptionally well written. It looks beautiful. And the characters are, everybody has an agenda. And the only person, well, you know what? Actually, so Lily goes to her ex-boyfriend to get help, which for me is the biggest fuck you gut punch in the show. When she shows up asking him for help to basically do shit with her current boyfriend, I look at that and I'm like, son of a bitch. I was like, I just imagine an ex-girlfriend doing that to me at that age, and what a sucker punch to the gut that would feel like. I mean, think about that, right? And And this is Lily's whole mindset of, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to get done what I need to get done. This is her drive. And to some degree,
Right.
this is what her ex-boyfriend is attracted to. I mean, he was with her. He knows how she is. And
Yeah.
I realized that I was going to say, well, her ex-boyfriend's the only good guy. He is a good guy. But the other thing, you know what? He is driven by a desire to be with her. That is his agenda. If he didn't have that agenda, he would have realized how dangerous all this was and been like, hey, Lily, fuck you. I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, everyone in this show
He says that at first, but,
Everyone, listen, that scene where he starts tidying up his apartment. I mean, what is that? What is that? But somebody basically being like, I have a chance. Her boyfriend's dead.
Right.
He burned himself to death. We're getting, she held my hand. Like, she hugged me. He's the puppy dog ex-boyfriend. And it's sad what apparently happens to him. So yeah, I like it. Everyone's flawed. Everyone's got their own agenda. What is it? There's a scene in this show where Kenton catches up with the Russian handler, who was basically running Lily's ex-boyfriend, and they end up getting into this fight in a parking lot, and I genuinely didn't know who the hell I was rooting for. I think I said that too when we were watching it, where I was I don't even know who I want to survive this, because either or has such a fascinating, possibilities for where it could go, right? And like, I guess in the end I wanted Kenton to win because he's more amusing to watch. His irritation is more amusing to watch. And you'd been with him for a bit at that point. It was like, what is that, episode 2 or 3? I don't remember.
That is episode 2.
2,
okay.
2. Yeah. So yeah, it really is a work of art.
Because 2 is where he shows up. 3 is where she has her. I'm pretty sure it's 2. Yeah, because. Hold on, I'm looking right now because I'm curious. Because I believe that happens really quickly. Because that's the one that starts off and you're like, what the hell are they showing me here? Yes, because in 3 she goes back to work and that's when she fakes the. Yeah.
So I didn't know who I was rooting for. Like, not really. And I like that. I like a show that creates such a morally gray zone that when you're watching it, you're like, I get you all, and I don't like you, but I don't dislike you. And I'm aware of your priorities. Like, Kenton's got a job, and his job is securing Forrest's world, right? Like, that's what he's doing. He's making it so that Forrest can do what he's doing. And it's not an easy job. And it could have been played in a lot of different ways. It could have been played, you could very easily make that like a cold-blooded murderous killer, he is a cold-blooded killer, but like you could have played it in so many generic ways, and yet the way they chose to go with it, you're fascinated by him, so yeah, I don't think it's anybody that I don't think he's made characterization wise any bad calls. Everybody says interesting things. Everybody gets into interesting arguments. He doesn't hit you over the head with the philosophy. At times you realize that people are getting angry and there's a philosophical argument, but like he doesn't hit you over the head with it. I know that he only did the one season, and I'm glad that it's a completed story. To which we are right smack dab in the middle of it. And I look forward to it. I get a lot of Alien Earth vibe excitement off of this. In fact, if Alien Earth,
by the way, that got a second season, so we will get one more season at least.
Yay! That's awesome. I was about to say, if Alien Earth doesn't get a second season, right? You could almost consider season 1 of Alien Earth almost a complete story. I would watch Alien Earth and Devs as like a back-to-back kind of like, if you want to watch 2 series parallel to each other, it'd be interesting to watch Devs and Alien Earth. You know, because Wendy is the same kind of driven character that Lily is, but to a very different end, I'm going to assume. So,
Well, yes, thus far it seems. Yeah.
so, so no, yeah, it's great. I mean, I know you and Doug did a whole thing on it, and you did a whole thing on it. So, like, I don't know much more I can add to it. I mean, we can.
No, the value is a different perspective, and that's
Yeah.
what made talking to Doug about it and talking to you about it.
And you know, the funny thing
That's the
it
part,
does
yeah.
get me thinking, because at one point we were talking about, like, I don't agree with Forrest's his philosophy of like life being on rails, right? I don't believe in that, but because I believe in the infinite everything all the time, there can be a reality where that is what it is. So it makes sense then, because in my vision of existence, there is a reality out there where everything's on rails as far as Forrest is concerned. If Forrest is correct, though, because I haven't yet, even in its own show, Forrest hasn't convinced me that he's right. You know, because yeah. So we'll see. I mean, that's the thing, is I'm dealing with I'm dealing with lots of questions, but not a lot of answers. So we'll see how they pull it off. But as to the halfway point, it's great. It's got me thinking. It's got me questioning people. It's got me thinking about my own personal views. I mean, that's nice. That's nice to have that. How often do you watch a show that makes you, or at least for me, I don't know how often I find shows that make me sit down and question what exactly my vision of existence and reality is. You know, and I can disagree with Forrest and yet still be fascinated by what he's after, you know? And I don't know what his end goal is. You know, you said it's not just about the daughter. But I know that if I thought I had the technology to get if I lost my children and I had the technology to get them back, yeah, I'd fucking do it. You know, and that whole thing of, like, you know, I've said to my wife before, the joke is that, like, I love my kids. And I love my kids so much that if tomorrow someone came to me and they're like, hey, listen, half the planet's going to die, or your kids, I'd be like, well, you know what? Too bad for half the planet.
Nice knowing half the planet.
Yeah, because I love my kids. I'm sorry, guys.
That's right.
I know you guys love your kids too, but then, you know what? You shouldn't have put me in charge of this decision. So when I look at Forrest doing what he's doing, I can't fault him. I'm like, you know what? You think, as of this moment, that you're going to get your daughter back. And if that's the crux of your main goal here, to get your daughter back, I can't fault you. You know, you know, Lily's boyfriend may have gotten in the way of you getting your daughter back, so you had him killed. Okay, that makes sense to me. Lily doesn't like it. Lily's going to get in your way. You may have to kill her too, because now Lily's getting in the way of you getting your daughter back.
That's right.
You know, although you and I did have an interesting conversation about the percentage of an individual, which is to say, there's a great argument where Forrest says, I want every hair on her head. I don't want 3 hairs to be different, because I'll know, right? And I was sitting there, and I didn't say anything because I didn't want to start an argument at that moment. But I was thinking, oh, fuck that, man. You wouldn't know, especially at that age. I was like, when children are young, you wouldn't know. You don't know half of what's going on in people's heads.
No,
and I was thinking,
but that's not really his point, because that's not all he says.
No, he
says
wants...
he's saying it doesn't stop at 1 hair, and he's right.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be 1 hair.
No, it's not you. But the thing is, I was talking to you about how much of a percentage of the person would you lose for you to not feel it was your person anymore?
Any percentage, if I can notice it. The percentage doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, hold on. That's a good phrase, though. Yeah. Any percentage that I notice.
Yeah.
So you do leave open the possibility that there could be great percentages that you yourself don't know about it, and it doesn't matter as long as you can't tell.
Well, I don't think it's a realistic argument, because I don't think that there's any percentage that would not eventually manifest in something you notice. I think that's going to happen.
Okay. But how would you know at that point? Say, like,
it's impossible to say, because people key in on different things.
Yeah. So, like, for example, like, let's say I'll use your wife in this situation, right?
Okay.
So let's say your wife has deep. I mean, she doesn't. But I'm saying, let's say your wife has deep, dark, down secrets. Let's say your wife is secretly a serial killer, right?
Okay. Sure.
Sorry, it's a very funny image. So anyway, your wife, because like Joe's wife is the last person, but maybe that's it. Your wife is the last person that would be a serial killer, which means they'd be great at it. So your wife is a serial killer. You never find out about it, right? And one day you step through an unseen dimensional portal. You cross into a like 5% different universe. You're completely unaware, right? And the color of paint on certain buildings has changed, which you attribute to, did I remember that right? Right? And then otherwise, your wife is no longer a serial killer, which is a pretty big difference. But because you didn't know about it previously, then it doesn't make it isn't that big of a change to you because you never knew about it in the first place, even though it is a pretty big change. So it's the unseen. It goes back to what you said. It's the whole, if you don't know about it, then it's still okay.
It is, but like I said, I don't think that's...
You think it would graduate into something larger?
Yeah, because that assumes a person is a static object.
No, they aren't. In fact,
that's
the thing. A person is so not a static object that I think that the idea that you could find the same, it's like the same changes so much across every moment of existence. And I think that's what that's when you get into the deep philosophy. That's where this show breaks down for me, because it's the idea of. Hold on a second.
My headphones just flipped out on me, so I can't hear you. So hold on a minute.
That's okay. I don't want to hear me. Joe doesn't really want to hear me. You guys don't really want to hear me either. That's just the universe stepping in and making a statement about it.
Hold on a minute. Is it this? Nope, it's not that.
I'd continue talking, but the problem is that Joe won't hear my argument because he's had selective deafness.
Let me do
selective technological deafness.
Whoa.
Are you with me?
Hold on. Ah, I see what they did.
Can you hear me?
Hold on. They should kick in any second now.
You know what?
And
I'm just going to find the lyrics to...
No, I can hear you. No, it was my fault. It was my headphones. It was my fault.
It
was mine.
Nope.
I know what it was.
That's fine.
So I heard you saying the thing about...
It was a universe. It was a universe trying to end the conversation. But what I was saying was that people are not static at all. And we're so not static that this idea that we ever fully know each other, I feel, is impossible. And I feel and especially with young children who are, like we said earlier in the show, like young children are absorbing tremendous amounts of information. Right. There's so much change at that point that this idea that, you know your kids at all from moment to moment, there's so much nature, there's so much nurture. We don't entirely understand which affects what, when, where, how. This goes back to the whole thing about how you can turn killer bees into honeybees. You can turn honeybees into killer bees just by putting them with a different group. And it's so gray area storm. So to me, I feel like you could change my wife. Like I said to my wife the other night, I said, I think they could change you like 20%. And I would wonder, I wouldn't immediately sit there and be like, I'm in an alternate universe. I'd look at her and be like, did you go, did you have some kind of realization? Has there been a mood swing? Did a medicine shift the way you think about something? I mean, I know that, there's night and day things. If tomorrow your wife was like, fuck pets, and started kicking dogs left and right, you'd immediately be like, there's something wrong here,
that would be
right?
fairly obvious, yes.
But it's this idea that I think it's interesting to think if we would even notice the 10%, or to what percentage we actually know the important people in our lives. I mean, you and I have, how many hours of deep conversation have you and I got? I mean, I like to think that you and
I don't
I
even
have
know.
a pretty good handle. Yeah, I like to think you and I have a pretty good handle on each other's positions, or to the point of which that I think that we're pretty good. We're pretty good predictors on each other's
Sure.
positions, right? So, like, if we had to take a test where I had to predict your point of view on, like, 10 different things, I think that I would come within like an 80 to 90% success rate, and vice versa. Like, I think that you would kind of be able to suss my general opinion on a lot of things. I mean, it's rare that we fully disagree. But even beyond that, we're kind of aware when each other disagrees. So the question is, I mean, it would be interesting. It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to do that, like, with people in your lives, to see like what your actual, like, estimated percentage of knowledge of each other is, and to say, well, how different could you be before it wouldn't be, before I would know it wasn't you.
Yeah.
It's a weird.
Well,
It's a weird thing. So
yeah,
it's like,
it's kind of impossible to really. I mean, it's impossible to test because some things could be very, very minor and intangible, but you would notice them.
well, because you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't really know. I mean, and I give a great example of this. My freshman year, I had an intro to psychology class, and I had the great luck of having it be taught by the head of the psych department, who is a really interesting maniac. And I say that with, like, great love. And he ended up being my advisor, and he was a lot of fun. I also had him for a class on death and dying, which was very memorable. So I remember our first class, he was trying to explain psychology to us and why it was important. And the entire class, he was complaining about having a headache, a really bad headache, and it was distracting him. And then at the end of the class, like, we're getting towards the end of class, and he basically says, so here's the problem with, psychology and therapy. He's like, you don't really know what's going on in people's heads. He goes, I don't have a headache. He goes, I never had a headache, but I presented to you like I had a headache. And the problem now is, have you acted in some way on me having a headache, and now you've realized that I have been lying to you? And how are you going to now function? He's like, now put yourself in the position where you're trying to counsel a patient and you realize they've been lying to you the whole time. You don't really know what's going on in people's heads, so you have to find a way to kind of validate what's going on, right? And act on information that you have, that you feel is valid, right? To which there was a woman in my class that would not let that shit go. That she basically said to him, if you act like a headache, then you have a headache. And I was like, what? Like, I mean, he just told you he lied the whole time. I mean, honestly, if anything, it says to me he could have.
That's the thing, though. Is I understand that person's viewpoint, because in their reality, if he presented and you reacted, then he had a headache, whether he had one or not. Doesn't matter.
Well, see, and I look at it in like a Schrodinger's cat way, where, like, as long as the cat's in the box, it could be or it could not be. Well, if you say to me that you don't, then it's possible that you did, or possible that you didn't. But she would not entertain the possibility. But how do you know that he wasn't lying about lying? I mean, if you're going to start that, it'll never end. And that's the problem with the Schrodinger's cat approach. That's the whole point, is that you don't know. And that's why you and I come at this from a different perspective, because I'm sitting there going, you don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, okay.
And it is endless. It is endless. Like, once you go down that road, it drives you fucking crazy.
It does.
Because it's nice to just know things.
But you don't ever know a person 100%. But I don't think that does mean that you don't know anything about a person. You may not know them atom to atom, but you would know if they suddenly change something that you know is a core part of their character. You would at least suspect that maybe they have a brain tumor. Maybe not that they've been replaced in reality, but
based on that logic, right? You're saying that you know the core personality. So if I change like 20% of the periphery, but the core remains intact, is it still them?
It depends on what you find important in another person. I mean, that's a subjective analysis, but... So basically what your definition of the core is, not their own definition. Okay. I mean, it has to. Everything Period. Look, now this is a much larger philosophical debate that could take weeks to go through, and there would never be an endpoint to it.
Oh, I know. I know, and I know that we should. I know we should.
No. What I'm saying is, in the end,
it'll go on forever.
There are very few actual facts in life, despite what people will tell you, because so much of everything of what we are as human beings is perception. So there are only a few things, really, like physical laws are really it. If I put you at the bottom of the ocean with no oxygen for a week, you're going to die. That's pretty simple.
And I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to say that outside of a 0.000000000, infinity 1% possibility of the absurd.
Well, you would also have to survive the pressure, so you'd have to survive no oxygen and pressure. So.
No, and that's the thing. This is the whole Douglas Adams and probability drive.
Yeah.
This is the probability is that you will be dead.
Or if I suddenly teleport you into space for a week, you're going to die. With nothing external as far as me just teleporting you to space from where you are now. So, those are the only things that are really true. Everything else is perception. It's what is the color yellow? Well, the color yellow is this. No, it isn't.
Okay, but hold on. I agree with you that those are high probabilities, but I don't know if they're true. This is where you get into the philosophy of probabilities. Because remember, in the show Devs, they hear Jesus' voice.
So let's
and it's that whole
change
thing
it.
Of
I'm going to deprive you of oxygen for a year. You're going to be dead. There is no probability that's not going to happen. None. It's just not. No one can survive a year without oxygen. No human being can survive a year without any oxygen. I mean, any. In your blood, in the air, none. Now, if you're going to tell me that there's a 0 point whatever, it's not. I'm sorry.
No. It's that you're trying to create a foolproof possibility. And I don't believe that anything has a foolproof possibility. Because if reality is as random and bizarre as it is, then there's always the possibility that something could happen that you never counted on. Right? So, for example, you decide to deprive me of air for a year, at which point I realize that all this is a simulation, and I step out of the simulation for 5 minutes and come back a year later, and we just upload. But this is
you're reinforcing my point, which is that there are very few things that are absolute.
No, I don't think anything is absolute.
There are things that are absolute.
I think that most things have a high probability of functioning most of the time.
I'm saying no extenuating factors. If I take you right now and deprive all oxygen from you.
Okay, so with outside of the possibility of random.
Yeah, obviously randomness changes everything. But if we're talking about there are absolutes.
Yes, you are correct. Yeah. No. If outside of the random possibility, you are correct.
That's my point. If I cut your head off and stick it in a bag for a year, you're not going to survive.
Yeah.
Not in a freezer, not with a tube with an oxygen. No. Yeah. I take your head off. I put it in a fucking Ziploc bag.
No. I get it. And the random possibility is that you find out that I'm the Thing from John Carpenter's The Thing, and I just grow legs and I walk away.
But that's a random. Now you're adding variance, which is what I'm saying.
But I said that's the random. That's the random possibility.
That my thing is there are absolutes if you eliminate variance.
Okay.
So we are making the same point. Yes, of course, if you allow for random chance, then nothing, you're right, is absolute. But what I'm making the bigger point
and that's the thing is, and yeah, go ahead.
Is that, barring variance, there are very few absolutes. And I mean very few, and they all really have to do with physical laws and physiology. The requirements of a human being to live. Outside of that, it's all perception. Yes. All of it. And so there is no real, that's the Schrodinger's cat thing. I mean, that's why it's...
And honestly, and listen, even the requirements of what we need to live, there are black and white elements in there, right? But within like the nuance of like health, I mean, the information is changing all the time.
Yeah.
You know, so there are very few things that are absolute.
I agree.
And that's why I personally believe that you can change people a certain percentage. A reality could shift. We could be living in a huge reality shift across dimensions, every time there's time travel, every time, somebody fucks the timeline, any number of things. And I don't think that most of us will notice. We'll chalk it up to absent-minded mental illness. Was it always like that? I never noticed that. I mean, how many times have you walked past something and been like, you know what? I saw a rock the other day, a really big rock, and it was in front of my daughter's
again, you cut
school,
out for me.
right? And I sat there and I thought,
What?
holy fuck.
Yeah, you just cut out for the last like 2 words.
Can you hear me now?
I heard the rock, and then you went holy fuck.
So you heard the rock.
Like cut. Good.
Okay, yeah. So there was a rock in front of my daughter's school, and the other day, I noticed it for the first time, and I'm pretty sure it's been there the whole time, and I just never actually paid attention to it. But because I never actually paid attention to it, I can't say without finding photographic evidence that the motherfucker was there the whole time. So for all I know, there was some kind of dimensional variance. Something changed in the timeline, and now there's a fucking rock there that I don't remember ever being there before. But also, it's so arbitrary that I'm not going to go about questioning the universe. I just sit there and I go, hey, you know what? There's a rock there. I don't know why I didn't notice that.
Well, it also doesn't matter.
There's
that too. It doesn't matter.
Well, it doesn't matter, and I think that's what it is. Is that I think I do wonder if we live in some kind of dimensional shift, and that little things are constantly being changed, and that we can handle that.
But if that rock you were to find out
can
its now existence was making your daughter die, then its importance changes quite a bit. And you would want to know when it was there.
Well, you know what? If the day after the day after I noticed it for the first time, there was a car accident and somebody hit my daughter.
Right.
Then, yeah, I'd sit
and
there
then
and
you'd
go,
be looking for security footage that shows the rock is there.
Did that rock? Yeah, and they. I mean, listen, the sci-fi stories write themselves.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then when you realize the rock wasn't fucking there, the rest of your life would be consumed with how the fuck did that rock get there? And everyone else just assumes that it always was there. And there's no footage of it being put there. No one knows when or how it got put there. Yeah. I mean, listen, reality is an all-encompassing, scary thing. And we just live it. So that's my review of Devs, everybody. And I suppose now would be a good time to go on to less psychologically alarming.
Yes. So after watching the first half of Devs, yeah.
Oh, by the way, hold on. Before you go any further, I just looked at that list. So Joe,
you didn't look
Joe
at
decided we were going to watch
you?
another movie,
Right.
and
That's hysterical.
I did not. I just looked at the one that we were going to watch, but like Joe sent me these 3 movies, right? And he was like, "Just pick a number." He didn't let me. I didn't look at the movies. He just said, "Pick a number," and we did like a whole coin flip thing to kind of get down to a single number. So it was truly random, right? And we ended up with this certain movie, but I didn't even look at the other ones. And today I was texting you, and I realized that Hellraiser was the first fucking movie. And I was like, son of a bitch, you want to watch Hellraiser after Devs? Like, and I know it's there because we kept talking about how in Devs, the lab is basically the Hellraiser cube.
I mean, it is.
And like, actually, it makes a lot of sense that the Devs lab could be the Hellraiser cube, the whole way it's set up. I just thought it was very funny. That's not the movie we watched.
No, we watched a movie from 1989 called or titled Lady Terminator, which is a magnificent combination of a real... Hold on, I meant to look up where it's from. The South Sea Queen legend. Hold on a minute. Is from... Here it is. Indonesia. An Indonesian supernatural being that I cannot pronounce the native name, so I'll say Queen of the Southern Sea.
You know... I never watched a lot of Indonesian
watched a lot with me.
Up, and now I've seen so many with... Well, something now that I've watched so many with you, I'm starting to get a flair for what is an Indonesian movie when I start watching it. where I'm like, oh, and they seem to really like to have
They do,
American actors
yeah.
in Indonesian movies. You don't get that so much in Japanese movies, but like in Indonesian movies, they really push to have white faces. I noticed.
Well,
strange.
you know, the legend is loosely based on what we see in the film. In the film, we see a woman
Okay.
who is very given to having sex with men and having her vagina snake bite their dicks off, which kills them. And she is.
Well, we discovered it's a vagina snake. I
Well, you
thought
don't
she
know
had a
until
blender in there
her
first.
husband grabs the snake and pulls it out of her. But nobody can satisfy her, I guess, including her husband. Otherwise, I don't know why she's having sex with all these other men.
Well, no. Remember, he's the.
Well, yeah.
100th
I mean, but
husband.
he says he's, you know.
Yeah, so I think that all those other men, basically, that was their. I get the sense that was their wedding night, or that was their
Sure.
attempt to
But
become.
whatever.
her
It's
husband.
not really clear. All we're really
one
given
guy-
to know is
Yeah.
that he pulls out her magic vagina snake.
Yeah, and
at
honestly,
which point.
through the
Yes,
clever
in
use
which
of
case
oral
we get
sex,
this
I might add.
particular curse, which you questioned the logic of, but let's go ahead and play it
Oh,
so
you
everybody
have-
can hear the line because it has
you
one of the
have
best
lines, go ahead.
pronunciations of the word bastard I've ever heard. Unfortunately, it's kind of blown out by the background noise, but it's still great. But she basically, once he pulls out the vagina snake, makes it into a knife and refuses to give it back to her. She knocks him backwards and says this.
Bastard! You tricked me! In 100 years, I'll have my revenge on your great-granddaughter!
And you immediately said, why 100 years? Why not just now?
Yeah, my brain is like, silly witch. He doesn't give a shit.
And I don't see anything in the actual.
That's like a witch turning around today and going, "Oh, you've wronged me. I'm going to curse your great grandchildren with global warming."
And look, I don't know all the details. I'm not reading the original text or anything, but nothing really has any roots in this 100-year thing. The snake is related to her. She is equated to take the form of a snake. Now, nothing says she has a vagina snake, but whatever. It's that's creative license. She does like to have sex with lots of men.
Vagina snake, by
generally
the
handsome
way,
men.
is a really good metal.
It is.
Really
It
good
is,
metal
yes,
song
it is
name,
very
I
much.
think. Vagina snake.
So
Dun, dun, dun,
she
dun, dun, vagina
projects
snake.
this
Yeah.
curse, and then we jump 100 years ahead. It doesn't say that, but I mean, it only makes sense because then there are cars, and you know,
so,
this
we
this
assume.
thing is going to possess a young woman who we basically jump ahead to the modern day, and in the modern day, there's a young woman who is an anthropologist, as she will point out multiple times throughout the film, and we cut to her.
in her very
we're going to hear it in a second.
obnoxious.
So we then cut to this woman
acting.
in a library, and she's looking for a book about the South Sea Queen, this legendary character. And there's a librarian there who says, yes, I have the book, but I have to give you a warning. And we'll now hear that dialogue of his warning about it and her fascinating response.
Not so fast. Do you know what you're in for? Whoever finds the secret of the South Sea Queen will live in great danger of his soul. Do you understand?
Come on. In this day and age, you speak of legends? I'm an anthropologist, huh?
Yeah. So, yeah.
Man, you know what? That's weird because I would think that of all the people who would take a myth
Yeah,
seriously,
I'm not going
it
to say
would
that
be an
writing is the
anthropologist.
strongest suit of this film. Let's just go ahead and make that observation.
No, listen. No. I'm going to say it right up front. It's a bad movie, but
Oh,
it's
yes,
a really
yes.
fun
No, it's-
bad movie.
It is a delightful film in terms of its badness. So this young woman takes the book and discards the warning of the old librarian and decides to go out and search for the area where the Sea Queen is supposed to be located. It's sort of vague, but that's what she says. And she gets on a boat And on the boat is one of Lando's favorite characters from the film, and so I did get a clip of him, the sea captain.
Oh, the sea captain.
Where he's basically telling her that you're
movie.
young and foolish, and unfortunately he's not going to live very long. But let's just hear a little bit of ye old sea captain, and we do get to hear the name of his first mate, which is a hilarious name.
You don't know how many people have disappeared. Superstition, huh? What the hell do you know? They go and never come back. The Sea Queen. She took them all. Their bodies, too. Now, you still want to go there? His brother disappeared that way.
Don't worry. It'll be all right. Couldn't we just pass by it?
Well, maybe I'm really a silly old fool.
Please. I'll be good, promise.
Popeye, turn on the engine.
Oh, good old Popeye. But you're right. That guy is dubbed very well.
You know what? This guy sounds to me like somebody who likes to
he
get
sure
the
does.
juice. That's what that sounds like to me.
Yeah.
And what you don't realize is that as she's talking to him, she's getting closer in her bathing suit and kind of thrusting her cleavage towards him.
And she's a beautiful woman.
I mean,
you know.
he's like, oh, listen. Outside of her voice and her poor acting, she's lovely.
So basically, she goes into the ocean and eventually is able to dive. She fucks it up the first time, goes down, suddenly is teleported to a bed where a animated snake goes into her body in a way that can only happen with a tied up and spread eagle woman.
She's spread
so
eagle
the
tied
vagina
to a
snake
bed.
doesn't know any other orifice to go into but the one it's named after, and possesses her, at which point the movie goes from... Yes?
Okay, listen. Let's be very clear before we go further. That vagina snake knew exactly where it's going. Because otherwise, this would be a really weird movie if she was like, quick, fuck me in the ass. I mean, like, if she had to have everybody have anal sex with her,
it would be a very
this would be a whole
movie,
different kind of movie.
Yes.
Right?
So at that point, the movie changes. So after she is possessed by the vagina snake, the movie stops being so much about the South Sea Queen. It technically still is. But then it simply becomes a full-bore rip-off, top to bottom, pretty much, of the Terminator. Hence the title Lady Terminator. And that is really what it is. Yeah.
I did not believe you at first, but then every scene that followed, I was like, oh shit, it is Terminator. Yep. Like, yeah, I mean, she basically kills... The difference is that she likes to fuck some men to death. That's the only real difference. So rather than showing up and just killing Bill Paxton and that group of hoodlums in the beginning, she fucks them to death on the beach. Right? And that's the only... Otherwise, while she's in pursuit of the ancestor, she is Terminator. She doesn't react. She's like just walking around like a robot. Like, yeah.
Oh, she looks great,
and she looks good. I mean, listen, she's a very 80s lady Terminator.
So if you're into women with big hair and leather from the 80s, which I am, then she looks great. So, but the rest of the movie, she barely talks, which greatly improves her character because you don't have that terrible dubbing. So she's mostly just shooting people in the crotch often, men in the dick, a lot. She has a real thing for shooting men in the dick.
And you know what? And that's a great detail, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, that they kept that consistently. I say this is a bad movie. And the thing is, it's not all bad. Like, clearly they weren't trying to make a bad movie. Like, there's a lot of well thought out things. It's just one of those crazy movies that you're like, wait, what?
There's a few things. One, it is clearly just ripping off the Terminator. That's one. I mean, it's just, you just can't not. I mean, literally, here is a quote when the tech noir shootout happens at the end.
Come with me if you want. Let's move.
I mean, come on. That's, I isolated it because Michael Biehn should listen to that and understand how he should have delivered it, because that's clearly the superior line delivery. But it really is. It's just following the pattern.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, that's the part that's really hilariously bad. The main cop can't act for shit. He has no range of anything.
No, he's so... It's not even like he's a bad actor. It's that he has no tone. So, like, it's one thing... Because there's another character in this movie called Snake, who you've played some clips from. Who he's like... he's not great, but he's all over
Yes.
the place, so you have a lot of fun with him.
Well, they're trying to do Bill Paxton
main
with him,
cop
and he's actually a pretty. I mean, when you hear him talking, it kind of does sound like Bill Paxton.
Yeah, eat it,
but
you
he's
bitch.
so monotone.
Snake is trying to do Bill Paxton,
Snake, yeah,
and you
is
do
Bill
think
Paxton.
of him, so it works.
But yeah, but the cop is like, he's like, oh, she's after us. We have to go. We should go right now. Oh no, like that's his acting through the whole movie. The only time he gets heated is when he's supposed to get angry with her, and he starts shouting at her. She's like, "You can't shout at me," and he's like, "I can shout at you
That's
whenever I
literally,
want."
yeah. He's the only part where he emotes.
And I was like, holy hell. He's actually acting for a minute there. And then he goes back to just being like,
There's a part, I didn't clip it, I probably should have, where they're talking about their past. He's like, I had a wife, but then she was raped and murdered. Would you like to fuck? And it's just, it's all the same delivery. There's no real emotion of any kind.
Yeah. Yeah. And that, honestly, that sex scene, that comes out of
because there's no
nowhere to me.
chemistry,
I'm like,
because
oh, wait,
he's a
hold
rock.
on. All of a sudden, you guys are into it, and she's calling you darling, and there's like a sex sequence in the woods. And then, I mean, listen, the movie is very it's all over the place in that respect. Where like there's a whole police station that's just been murdered, and they just barely escape, and they're in the woods. And they have sex, and the next day they go to the mall, and you're like, what? Like, and then he calls in his friends from America, like, and then all of a sudden, it's just it's an inconsistent.
What we
but
should
hilarious
there's something we should
tone.
point out. Two things we should point out.
200 hours later.
Is the first one. But the thing is, after the South Sea Queen stuff and she arrives and does her electric nude meditation and powers up, the movie starts really speeding up. And you start to it's just all action. There's car chases, shootouts. They do the police station shootout from Terminator. They do Tech Noir. They do 2 big car chases. And then you end up in an airfield. And that moves so quickly because the pace picks way up once they establish all the South Sea Queen stuff.
What was the movie we watched? What was the movie we watched? It was like
Action USA.
Impact USA or something like that. One that was still made by Action USA. This movie trumps Action USA in that once it finally gets going.
Correct.
It does not stop. There's always something fucked up going on.
Yeah, there's the opening first 20, 25 minutes are set up. And after that, the next hour is just constant shooting, motion, chasing. They do stop to have the sex scene, but then they're back in the mall and then she shows up again immediately out of nowhere.
Hey, but listen. Hey,
no, but what I mean is
action.
The rest of it is really the woman hunting them and they're just running away, or she's killing massive amounts of people.
Yeah.
She has an M16 with a 1,000,000 bullet clip.
It's Terminator.
That she just unloads because she must kill 30, 40 guys.
And she's got perfect aim.
And by the way, this is squibs. This isn't like cheap shit effects. Like they're getting squibbed out to fuck,
Oh no, yeah.
They do. And then she gets hit in the eye, so she does the eye cutout scene, which is actually...
Oh, and she does which is so needless. Like
needless. It's pointless,
It's pointless.
It's pointless.
They just really...
And they did. It's actually a very
Terminator.
good scene for what this movie is. The effect is good.
Yeah, for the budget and the effects, it does. It doesn't.
Because again, I said this in the commentary. I'll say it again here. If you haven't seen the Terminator in a while, when he does the eye cutout, I mean, it's a good scene, but it's not like you think it's Arnold's face. It's clearly a model head. And so in that way, this is not that much different in that it says believable as the Terminator. It's fine. It's actually well done, but it is completely pointless because she gets hit in the eye with a magic green jewel bolt. She doesn't appear to have any major problem, and yet she cuts her eye out, washes it, puts it back in, and on she goes. Even though it's important to point out, she's not a robot in this movie. She's a person with magic powers. So... But when she washes the eye off, there is electricity. So for a second, you might think she's a robot, but she's not. She's just a possessed person who's invulnerable.
And the other thing is, there's never any possibility of her being unpossessed. She's never saved in this.
She was an innocent woman.
even after they burn her, she just turns into a
Yeah, I mean,
there's
besides her
never any
arrogance
saving her in
in
this
not
movie.
believing the legend as an anthropologist, as you say, you point this out correctly. Outside of that, she's not a bad person. She's not like a shitbag or something. She's just possessed.
No, she didn't. Yeah, in an American movie, I would see somebody making a stink about trying to like save her or free her, or there's got to be a way.
Well,
we can,
in the
we can
American
save, but no, there's
version,
none of that. Like she
would be a
fucked
thief.
with the wrong
she
thing.
would be a thief who like got somebody killed to get to the jewels.
Oh, there'd be a
she would have to be a bad
negative
person.
Yeah,
or
there'd be a negative element.
when she got stabbed at the end, she would live.
Oh, you know what though? But maybe by Indonesian standards,
Possible.
she
That's
is.
what I'm saying. In
because
the
she was
American
born.
version,
She was
in an
told
American
not
version,
to.
it'd be different.
And because of her negligence, the two sailors were killed. Because remember, they're
she does
murdered
dismiss
because of her.
sage advice from an elder. Maybe that's a huge thing. Other cultures don't throw away their old people like we do. So maybe that is an affront to, something greater. Like maybe that's a divine offense. I don't know. I'm saying in an American version, this shit wouldn't fly. She would either have to survive being stabbed, or she would have to be a bad, capital B, bad person to start with. That no way it would be like this. So in any event, the rest of the movie is just chasing, shooting until they get to an airstrip. At which point, as Lando said, they call in the Americans, including a scene where they do almost a version of the "you've been pushing too many pencils" thing from Predator. And they call in Snake, Tub, and somebody else.
And the worst...
Yeah.
Oh, and somebody else. And the thing is that I wish those characters...
Yes.
I wish there was more with those characters, because they are so...
Yeah, they're just American
ridiculously
caricatures.
over the
I mean,
top.
literally somebody watched Commando, Predator, and Terminator and said, we need one from each of those movies, and Aliens, bring in, these... That's what they did. And there's a great line when one of the characters is blown up, where the character that I would describe as the Schwarzenegger of the group, because he's the bulkiest, who fires a rocket launcher and seems to be the most muscle-bound of all of them, has this beautiful, touching, emotional reaction to his friend blowing up.
Tub, my buddy.
Yeah, Tub, my buddy. I mean, my buddy. Yes.
Tub,
and
my
this
buddy.
is after Snake has gotten killed as well, which is a shame because Snake does have the best kind of overall character where he's just screaming shit like... I mean, it's just great.
Oh man, that when Snake is chasing the Lady Terminator, he's in a tank. He's sitting in the top of the tank. He's firing a machine gun. He is not looking. He is no longer looking. His eyes are basically closed, and his head's kind of tilted up, and he's just like, "Yeah, America, yeah!" Like I'm sitting there going, "What the hell are you even shooting at that point?" And he's got the most incredible mullet. I mean, it is. It's immense.
He should have had his own movie. That character as the sidekick in a movie would be outstanding. Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like there should be another movie about Snake and Tub where they come through, and then this is like the companion movie.
Yeah. How did they all know each other? What did they
Yeah.
do that they all knew each other?
You know what? Honestly, this is what's the zombie movie they did that Zack Snyder did in Vegas?
Army of the Dead. Yes.
Army of the Dead. Army of the Dead. Yeah. So this is Army of the Dead, and now they need to do the companion movie that's just about the what do you call it? The thief cracker.
Right.
That has nothing to do with zombies. It's just about a heist, right? So there should be a whole other movie about Snake and Tub, and their other friend who has no name. I enjoyed it. It's good.
Yeah,
fun.
well, this is one of those movies that it's
just not. It's not a good. It's not a good movie. It is.
It's a very fun rip-off film. It is very fun to see somebody blatantly now, and to the point where, was there any actual money made from this movie? I suspect they would have been sued, because it is indefensible that this is a Terminator ripoff film, to the point where you're even including the lines from the other movie.
No, it's a ripoff.
Come with me if you want. Let's move.
You're using the lines from the movie you're ripping off. I mean, that's one of the things you try to avoid.
I mean,
is to have it directly where you can compare the scenes 1-to-1. I mean, the scene where she gets shot with the shotgun, she goes through a window, lands on her back, gets up. The eye scene is almost shot for shot the same. She has red vision. She doesn't have the computer graphics, but she has red vision. Again, because it's so clearly mapped off the Terminator, there are points where I would understand if people thought she was a robot, even though she's not.
Well, you know what? Actually, this is going to take us back to devs. So we talked about in devs, it could have been a cult. Any technology, advanced enough appears as magic, right? Well, they went the other way. They said, hey, a Terminator is so advanced, it's practically magic.
Sure.
What if it was a magic Terminator? And, and that's what they did. They made a magic Terminator. So it's
I mean, she drives
funny,
the car into the police station, crushes the guy against the wall, then guns everybody down.
Yeah, she doesn't. The only thing she doesn't do,
which I'm sort of surprised
say,
about.
I'll be back.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care, but
I think they knew. I think that was a bridge too far.
Maybe.
I think they
possibly.
knew they'd get in trouble if they did that.
I mean, it's fine. I don't care.
We'll just go this far. But I mean, they went pretty fucking far.
If you were to show this to anybody who didn't know the Terminator, they would immediately say, wait a minute, they're ripping off the Terminator. They would know. Any ordinary person, without even being a movie fan, would know.
Honestly, they should have titled it something.
And that's
like
the other part, is they put the word Terminator
like
in the goddamn title. So, I mean,
Yeah. And they put some work into that title, too. I mean, it's not even like it's a... that is a very well done title card. And, yeah, I mean, that's...
Well, and that's another point about this, because what we're talking about here is...
Terminator.
It is a well-made movie. There are stunts. There are explosions. There are squibs. There is stuff happening. This is not a lazy ripoff. It's an earnest one. So I'll give it that. It is a enthusiastic ripoff film. And it is a ton of fun. The thing you just have to know is that the main actor has no ability to act. As long as you're okay with that, you'll have a great time.
Yeah. He is the weakest link in all of this too, because all the other guy, all the Indonesian actors around him. The captain. The captain. I love the captain.
The captain's great. But
the thing is, the boat captain was great, and everybody around him is good. Even the girl who's basically Sarah Connor is.
But the girl,
okay.
the anthropologist, the lady Terminator. At first, because you don't have the cop, you think, oh, this is pretty bad acting. But no, she's emoting. She's going way over the top. But at least you can tell when she's upset or not upset. Whereas the main cop, I don't know whether he's about to explosively bleed from the ass or have an ice cream cone. I can't tell what the fuck's going on with him.
There's a line at the end when one of his friends is brought by him on a gurney, and you don't know if he's going to live or not. And he delivers this line where he's like, I guess I'm going to live forever. And I couldn't tell if he was being funny or sarcastic or like what the hell the intent of that line was. Because the way it's delivered is so blank that you're like, what is he saying? Like, is he being a dick? Like, is he being a funny dick? Or is he just being a dick? Like, what's going on? Like, without the intonation, you're kind of lost.
No, you are. You're completely out to sea.
But you know what? But that's funny. That's the thing.
That's what adds to the enjoyment of it, is that the broken parts are fortunately not broken parts that ruin the film. They make it funnier.
I mean, he's essentially talking.
I was just about to say, at that point, you wonder if he's the actual Terminator. Because there's another movie we'll watch at some point where there is a surprise Terminator in it. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but there's a surprise Terminator. And this guy could have been one of them.
Nobody wants.
No, they don't.
Nobody wants a surprise.
Especially when they're already ripping off another James Cameron movie, and then they drop that into it. Oh yes,
this isn't that Italian.
Yes, we'll watch that at some point.
Where they're like, we're gonna turn this guy into our girlfriend. Is that movie?
Yeah.
Okay. I only remember that line.
It's a line. I didn't capture the one for this one where the guy, when she comes out of the ocean, he goes, "Hey, go ahead, man. At least you can't get AIDS." Which he says that's what he says. At least you can be sure you won't get AIDS. Which again,
yeah. And at the end of it all, the Sarah Connor stabs her
with the knife that she was told. This is the magic knife you need to have. The
vagina snake knife. Yeah. Yeah, and then it kills her. And you're like, shit, bitch, you should have stabbed her at the beginning of the
kills
movie.
The Terminator.
Like, what?
And then the knife turns into the Northern Star or something. It goes off into space because apparently the Sea Queen is dead.
It disappears. I wonder if they didn't. I was hoping for there to be a line where they were like, don't use it because we'll lose its power. I wonder if in its usage, you would then lose its power. It would then, return to the sea or some shit like that.
I don't know where it went. It went to space. No.
But there's no line for that.
She gets blown up.
To space.
It turns into a zombie, shooting eye lasers that she didn't have before somehow. And then she gets stabbed. And then she's dead. And that's it.
Yeah. So when the vagina snake enters the body from any other port
then it's deadly.
Than the vagina, it will kill you.
So if it doesn't go into its designated orifice, it is lethal. It's kind of like those puffer fish that if you don't cook them just right, they kill you. So I guess it's like that. Yeah, it's a puffer fish knife.
They kill you. Yeah.
But
even if it goes into the right orifice, then you get possessed.
But we laughed a lot at this movie. It was a good time. So it is. Yeah.
Yes. Oh no, I enjoyed it. It was fun. I mean, and like you said, it's not badly made.
Yes.
They did do a good job of it. It's just that, there's element outside of the fact it is a blatant ripoff. The American actors let it down a little bit.
I think what saves the movie is that it is in such fast motion after it's open.
Yeah.
It does not stop long enough for you to go, okay,
honestly,
these are really creaky parts. It just keeps moving.
If everyone in this movie, except for the Lady Terminator, was Indonesian, I think it would have made it a better movie.
I completely agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, listen, the Lady Terminator didn't even have to be a white woman. It could have been anybody. She's just not a problem. Like, once she shuts up, physically, she does a great job. She shows up, she's a robot, she's kicking doors down, she's shooting shit. She's great.
Yep. Yeah.
She looks great for the job,
Yeah, she's shooting everything, which is what you want. The action just ramps way up and it stays up.
Yeah, but the white cop is so bad.
Yeah.
It just makes you laugh.
It's hard to overlook. Well, actually, I should say,
could yell at you if I want.
To overlook it. That's what adds to that is the funniest part. Is you do wonder if it would be significantly better if he was a better actor. And I think in the case of the Lady Terminator, some of what hurts her too is the voice dub is so bad for her. It's really awful.
Oh, when she.
So, if they had a better voice actor for her and a better regular actor for him, it would probably actually be a decent movie without the funny part.
It's a fun movie. But I mean, it is a fun movie. I mean, even once you realize it's Terminator, it's like a psychotic, weird alternate dimension.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is I think that because it's such a ripoff, that helps it, because you're seeing that. You know what? Okay, I'm going to say this in a very specifically careful way. The first Terminator is not James Cameron's finest filmmaking effort. It's a much better idea than a made film. No. So you can, T2 is that's T2 the movie. And Aliens are really where you see his action filmmaking at the peak. That's where it's at the top. So watching this,
in fact, as far as I'm concerned, T2 and Aliens are his best movies.
As a direct comparison, you can see that the Indonesian Terminator is not that much less well-made a movie in terms of pacing, action, set pieces, explosions, shooting, car chases.
No, I mean, listen, there's some good car chases.
Yes, what you're missing is fights. You don't have Michael Biehn.
I mean, listen, you're making a sound argument that you know, it's
Yes.
not
The
that
only
much
part
worse
that
than
is
the original.
massively a
Although,
downgrade.
to be clear,
That's what I'm saying.
Michael Biehn is
that
a better actor. Arnold is a more commanding presence, and Linda
I don't even know
Hamilton
if I
is a
think
better
Arnold's a
actress.
more commanding presence. I think he doesn't really do anything, but his accent is memorable. But he's just a walking tank, and so is this woman. So, no, the difference
right.
is you pointed
no,
it
you know
out.
what?
Michael Biehn is a real actor. This guy was not, and so that's the part that sort of jangles on your spine a bit, where you're just like, okay, I have to laugh at this because this is Z grade. This is like not even theater, local community theater acting.
See, this is Z grade. This is like we just pulled him off the street. Hey,
Right.
you're white.
Yeah.
You want to be a cop in a movie?
I really feel like as far as the police officers, they were trying to do direct imitations of American actors, and unfortunately, their lead was the worst choice in terms of range.
We have to answer something before we go any further. Okay. Oh my God, I love the poster with her where it's like, oh, they've got her chained up in the.
There's some good posters for it. The one where she's replicated
Nice,
is my
let's find
favorite.
Okay, was
That's
Max? Max was the cop, right? Oh my God, Snake.
That was Adam
the
Stardust.
Actor who
What a
plays
name.
Snake. That was Adam Stardust.
Christopher
Okay,
J.
we're gonna
Hart
look- we're
did
gonna look that guy
one
up,
movie.
too. Okay, so Max. Yeah. Son of a bitch. So there isn't even anything else. This was his one
almost
movie.
everybody in this is their one movie.
Fuck.
The only difference is the woman who played Larry Terminator was apparently a penthouse pet in Australia. Which doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
No shit. Well, Adam Stardust. This was his only movie too.
So far the only person I
Son
found
of a
who's done
bitch,
more than
what a
just this
weird-
movie was the Queen of the South Sea from the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So everybody who was older or was less in it has done more movies so far. Yeah, everybody but the main cast has done more than this. Everybody who's like the cops or the main characters have only done this movie, but the old guy, the old librarian's done a bunch. Fortunella, who was the queen from the opening, more. Another woman, more. All these people but her. But them, I mean.
Oh, interesting. Listen to this. So the
Tanya.
girl who plays Lady Terminator, right?
Or Barbara Ann Constable.
Yeah,
is
so
the
she
actor's name.
grew up a professional dancer in Australia and studied at the Queensland Dance School of Excellence from 1983-84. After suffering a leg injury, she went up in Hong Kong where she got involved in modeling and fashion reporting. A chance audition for an Indonesian film company led to Constable being cast as the lethal and unstoppable character in the gloriously outrageous Lady Terminator. Besides playing the main character, she
one
did
in which
all
like
her
she
own
looked like
stunts
she
in the
almost
movie.
got fucked up because when she goes through the window at one point, she gets hung up on it. You can see it.
And it is the lone foray into film acting. She went on to become a fashion and beauty editor, as well as an in-house writer for Eve magazine. Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. Oh, and you know what? It didn't occur to me that her voice is not Australian in the movie, in the show.
Yeah, one thing
They
I don't
dubbed
like
her
is
with, like,
I
an
don't see
American
anything that
voice.
says who did the voicing. It's just the actors. They don't tell you who does the voices, which sucks because the voice for her sure sounds like one of the young kids from Akira, but I doubt it is. Because I also thought Bateau was in this.
Oh my God, they have quotes.
Yeah, I saw
They
those.
have quotes of hers about the movie. Quote, everyone was smoking joints on the set. People were off their nuts. I don't know how they got anything done. I had so many near misses, like half car bodies flying and missing me by 2 centimeters. I nearly got killed so many times during this film. I've seen it since with friends over a few drinks and just laughed all the way through it. It's a crack up. People were like, that's you?
Yeah.
That's weird. Wow. Honestly, I think that makes me like the movie more. The fact that it's a bunch of like one-offs.
No, I told you, I actually own this movie. I bought it. I saw it and I bought it. I was like, no, I want this. I want to be able to watch this and not have it ever, gone. I don't think there's any extras on the disc though, which is a shame. I would love a commentary from some of these actors. Yes.
Out of curiosity,
let me see. Hold on.
Who did the DVD? Is it is that that isn't Vinegar Syndrome, is it?
No, this is from Mondo Macabro. Let's see. Special features. Brand new transfer. Documentary on Indonesian exploitica. Oh, well, that might be worth watching. I didn't see that before. Production notes. Alternate scenes. I would love to know. What are the alternate scenes, I wonder? Huh. Yeah. Trailer and previews. Yeah, there's not much here. Yeah, this is a Mondo Macabro DVD.com.
I mean, you know what? It makes sense though that she moved as well as she did, because she did train and dance. So they didn't have somebody who had an awareness of their body and moving it.
No, look, I think she's good.
That's one of those
I genuinely do. I mean, the dubbing hurts her, which isn't her fault. I don't think she dubbed her voice. But really, the dialogue, that's not her. She didn't write it. She's good in the role. She looks great. She moves, like you said, she did her own stunts. And it's not like there aren't good stunts in this fucking movie. Yeah, I would love this to have a high definition release. If this came out in Blu-ray, I'd buy it. Because I actually think it's very fun. So, yep.
Well, I enjoyed it. Regardless of anything else, I enjoyed it. It was fun. I had a good laugh. I had a good time. If the end goal is entertainment, it succeeded.
Here's the tagline. First she mates, then she terminates. An outrageous tale of blood, babes, and black magic. That's not untrue, technically.
First she mates, then she terminates.
It's like Kill Bill, but with oodles of sex. Okay, well, I don't know if I'd go that far. This combination. I'm reading the back of the DVD box. Here we go.
What?
Here, let's see how accurate. I've never read the back of the box. Let's see. Get ready for a wild ride. Fine with that. A sexually rapacious Asian goddess known as the Queen of the South Sea, so far so good, possesses the body of a young female skin diver. Okay, she's not a skin diver. She's an anthropologist, huh? Armed with an AK-47. Well, Uzi at first. But yes, no, wait, it wasn't an AK-47. It was an M16. No, this is completely inaccurate. And an endless supply of bullets, seemingly. Yep. This murderous Lady Terminator takes to the streets on a revenge-filled rampage. It's like Kill Bill, but with oodles of sex. That is wildly inaccurate. This combination of Asian black magic and Western-style shoot-'em-up is one of the key cult movies of the 80s. That's a bold claim. I mean,
wait, of the 80s?
It's 89, but I would say key foreign cult movies. I would not really just say that in general. Even the jaded patrons of 42nd Street were shocked to see how the lustful Lady T dispatched her male victims. All right, let's dissect that one for a minute. I doubt that the most jaded of 42nd Street. Now, for people who don't know what that means, what they're talking about is 42nd Street in New York, where grindhouse movies used to play all the time. I doubt the most jaded of viewers would have seen this as much of anything. The most jaded of viewers were watching, like, snuff films. Let's see. Previously released...
Yeah, I mean, listen. This is based off what was a very popular 80s horror movie. Terminator.
Previously released in a cut full-screen version, which I'm glad we didn't see that. This DVD restores the film to its original length, which is 82 minutes, so it makes me wonder how long the original one was, and presented in digitally restored format enhanced for widescreen TVs. Okay, well, that's true. So, yeah, I would love to see this remastered. I really would. Because it's a fun movie.
I
would.
I don't care if it's remastered, because I don't think that it needs a HD release to be good. In fact, I think the graininess of it kind of makes it what
I wouldn't mind seeing it with some punchier colors and a little bit more detail. Wouldn't be bad.
Listen, you know what? This is the kind of movie I would have watched that was a recording of a recording on a VHS that somebody gave me when I was like 15. That's what this movie is. And I would have watched it, and I would have fucking loved it and been like, oh my God, there's boobs and murder and madness and, you know, like, and I wouldn't care. And I'd be just as excited as Snake.
Let me tell you something.
By the end.
This
fuck yeah, die you bitch.
This production company specializes in porn more than anything, from what I can tell.
No shit. This was
Well,
the
I
most
mean, you could tell they
unporny
were trying
movie
to
they
sex
made.
it up, but just look at the. I'll send you a link to the actual site of the company that released the disc. Look at the second film on the front page that they've got a picture of. That's it.
Is this Mondo
Yeah.
Macabra?
Take a look at that second movie called the
second
no,
Lady
keep going.
Desire?
Keep going.
The Greek Collection.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god.
That's the one. That's a
Eva
subtle
Man.
cover.
Eva Man. You know what? I'm running off to watch
I
a
just
trailer
love the
now.
fact that that woman's face is a clip.
Eva Man.
I mean, clearly.
It's called
It's the return of
Eva
Eva
Man.
Man,
Let's see.
technically.
Eva
Oh no,
Man.
I'm sorry. No, you're right. It's a
The
two movie.
Return.
So
Oh, no,
Eva
it
Man is
includes-
number one. Yes.
It's Eva Man.
Let's make sure we get that right because it's important.
Wait, hold on.
I can click
wonder
on
what
it
the year
and tell
on
you.
that is.
Hold on. It is Eva Man. Where is Eva Man?
Because I don't have an Eva Man. I have a 1982.
Here it is. I found it.
Pita Conejo,
It is-
aka El Regreso.
Yeah, it's
I found the return
wow,
of
that's
Eva
on
Man.
Blu-ray. This isn't, but that is. Come on.
Well, I'm going to watch the
yeah,
return
where's
of
the
Eva Man.
years? That's interesting.
All right, this isn't a trailer. This is just a scene from the movie.
Okay. Would you like me to read the description of this movie?
What the fuck? Tell you what.
Okay.
It
I'm
doesn't
just
look
going to
good.
read this, but we're never going to watch this because I don't think this is good.
Yeah, go ahead.
The beautiful Eva is unusual in a number of ways, not the least of them being that she was born with both male and female attributes. That word attributes doesn't really jive with the next sentence. She asks her uncle, Professor Pissinger, to operate on her and remove the male parts. Not attributes, parts. However, the professor is so taken with the idea of a person who can be both male and female that he refuses to perform the operation. He believes that the future of humanity would be best served by increasing the number of intersex individuals. This is a progressive film. So he creates something like a pacemaker, but this time installed in the crotch area. This is Rama 1/2. It gives the recipient the ability to control and increase their sensual intensity. The professor believes his invention could change the world for the better, bringing about a more peaceful and balanced society. Unfortunately for him, a gang of incompetent criminals have been hired to kidnap Eva and remove the maker from her body, then giving it to their boss who, being impotent, believes the device will save his relationship with his wife, the glamorous but frustrated Gerda. Eve and her friend Ajita set off in search of the criminals, but unfortunately the gang kidnap Eva and plan to remove the maker using a sharpened axe. Eva Man is a legendary and yet little seen film. No.
Yeah,
No
the trailer
reviews
doesn't look
at
good.
all.
But I'll tell you
it
what,
is.
the poster is
It really
incredible.
is. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, 1982 is the year. Sorry, that's the year of the sequel. Okay, wait, it's actually on IMDb, so let's see. Does it have when the first movie was made? Because I'm literally just curious. Oh. Do you know what the sequel was about? Would you like me to tell you? Apparently now there's a new gang of criminals who want to steal a gun the professor made that when you shoot it at people makes them uncontrollably filled with sexual desire.
Oh God, I was so hoping it was a gun.
No, that's the first movie, and that first movie is from 1980.
It's a horny gun.
Sorry, 1980.
The second one is a horny gun. It's a
Wow, this woman was in a couple films though. She was in Dario Argento film. She was in Tenebrae. Interesting. I've seen that movie. It's a great movie. Who is she in Tenebrae? Rhode Island Girl? Okay, then that wasn't a key feature. Oh, apparently this is supposed to... Oh, it's Italian. Should have guessed. Apparently it's a comedy. Sexy and funny. It has everything you would want to see to laugh and pass a good time without the excess of pornography. Interesting. Yeah.
Without the excess, okay.
It is not intended to be a spicy movie, but instead to make people laugh about the situations presented. It is definitely a comedy that any viewer would enjoy. I don't know about any viewer. Okay. Interesting. Since I don't speak Italian, I can only guess what this film is about. Oh my God. Could you imagine not having subtitles? Wait,
yeah.
This is the person's what they think it's about. Plot-wise, I think it's about some sort of professor conducting lovemaking experiments with people. His favorite subject is Eva Man, who is a nice-looking blonde with a bigger dick than her boyfriend. Some bad guys want to kidnap Eva Man and cut off her genitals with an axe, and everyone has sex and swims around naked in a pool. It might actually be meant as a sort of comedy, but I can't be certain. He gave it a 10 out of 10, though. Oh. All right, well.
Well.
More like this includes Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS, so I don't know. In any event, gang, I'm not going to tell you should watch that one, but Lady Terminator is a very, very fun movie. It's a very fun movie.
No, it is fun.
So,
yeah.
Boy, Eva Man.
And
Devs is
still
This
great.
is now my third time watching Devs, so... Or actually, technically, it's my fourth time watching it, so it's very good.
Yeah, Devs is still great.
A blast.
Lady Terminator is still great to
A
Joe.
blast.
And, I mean, there's none of these were
this,
bad.
Lady Terminator and Mystics and Bali are a nice two-pair if you want to do it that way. I think Lady Terminator is a better film.
Yeah, I would put those two together. It is. Okay, no.
Yeah.
Lady Terminator is by far a better...
but they're both fun in different ways.
a better movie.
By
far.
The witch character in Mystics and Bali is a great character in the voice acting and her whole thing.
Honestly, if the witch from Mystics and Bali was part of the Lady Terminator, if
she was the librarian,
those movies together,
why are you going to look for the CSL Sea Queen? Don't you know what it will do to you? It will doom your soul. What are you, an idiot?
But yes, those are both fun movies. But yes, Lady Terminator is
hold
a
on,
better movie.
let me see if I can get this right. I might be able to do this.
I'm an anthropologist, huh?
I'm gonna try and time it.
Yeah, eat it, you bitch.
All right, yeah, that worked pretty well. On that note, everybody, whatever you do with your weekend, have a great time, and we will talk to you. I don't know what we'll bring to you again next week, but yeah. Anyway, Lady Terminator is a lot of fun, and so is Deb. So enjoy that, and we'll talk to you again next week. Visit OzoneNightmare.com to subscribe to new episodes, browse through our back catalog, or to find links to support the show. Follow @OzoneNightmare on Twitter for the latest episode postings and other show information. If 280 characters just isn't enough, you can always email us, theozonenightmare@gmail.com. The opening theme for the show is provided by Heartbeat Hero. The closing theme is provided by Ogre. Please visit and support these artists using the links in the show notes for each episode.